right, Benchwarmers, listen up. It's going to get hot at the ballpark, hot at the gym, and hot at your kid's sports practice. So you need something that does two things at once. Keeps your drink cold and lets you rep your squad in style. That is where Frost Buddy comes in. With Frost Buddy, you can represent your favorite college teams from Alabama all the way to Xavier while keeping your drinks colder than a small forward missing 12 shots in a row. And if you are keeping something warm, they can do that too. Hotter than a center who just made 12 straight in the paint. The Universal XL Frost Buddy can handle almost anything. Traditional 12-ounce cans, Gatorade, sports drinks, slim cans, tall boys, Arizona iced tea cans, and even bottles. That is why they call it Universal. And to cap it all off, literally, you can add a 100% leak-proof lid, the perfect finish, just like your favorite team closing out a big win. And speaking of favorite teams, Frost Buddy has you covered there. MLB fans can pick their favorite team and choose from styles in the Cooperstown Collection or Legacy Collection. More of an NHL fan, Frost Buddy and All Gloves Off Sports Media have you covered with 120 styles of Universal Buddies and To-Go Buddies, plus your favorite NCAA teams. And it gets even better. Frost Buddy has 40,000 plus reviews, a 30-day free trial, and free shipping on orders over $60. Not buying for a sports fan? No problem. They also have several 32-ounce bottle buddies and full rainbow of designs, perfect for as a gift for people in your life who may not be locked in on the game day like you are. They come with a sip and chug lid, no slip bottom, a detachable strap, and yes, they are cup holder friendly. So scan the code, chill the liquid, and rep your team with a great combination of Frost Buddy and All Gloves Off Sports Media. You are covered wherever game day takes you. Go to frostbuddy.com/redhotreds and get yours today. That's frostbuddy.com/REDHOTREDS and get yours today.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.
With the mother of all thunderstorms going on outside, it seems like we have one of those every other day. I got caught in one this weekend. We are back with you guys from Colorado. Jimmy Pilato, Niko Bryant, episode 287 of the far end of the bench. We are officially 2 weeks away from NFL kickoff. College football week 0 starts this week. Niko is going to the PLL Playoffs with California Redwoods, so we have a lot to get into. Plus, as always, our awards, player and benchwarmer of the week, and I think a segment that people are starting to like a little bit more, especially if you're a fan of the miscellaneous videos on our YouTube channel. Go back to last August, watch me run a mile in a suit, see my punishment, because it's going to be happening again, and we're going to break down our fantasy rosters from our draft that happened this Monday. I'm sure Niko did not like some of my picks. I will say right off the bat, I did have a strategy, and I'm trying to change my strategy because obviously what I've been doing the last 2 years ain't been working. So it might look stupid to conventional fantasy football, but I have my reasons as to why I did what I did. But Niko,
I really did feel bad because like the first thing I check after like the draft happens, you know, is like you gotta go to the power rankings right away. It's like within 5 minutes of the draft.
Those power rankings did not jive with my
mindset at all. They picked you last again for the third straight year, and I think now it's just like now they just know the owner. I think it's not just. Well, I think it's not because
I think it's not the owner because you've said this.
It's the spot. It's the
spot. They know the spot that's been in the algorithm for like the last 4 years. That has been the last 4 years. Awesome. I should have been relegated, but you know why I'm not relegated? Because everybody loves having somebody at the bottom. That's just we'll keep you around. You're our friend. You're good. Come on now. And playoffs are coming up. You excited for this weekend and getting things rolling?
I love going to Minnesota. So Minnesota's a lot of fun. Playing at the Vikings practice facility, which is always so sick, and they had some new jerseys pop out, so that I'm sure the Vikings fans over there, maybe I'll see Kyler Murray walking around, all 5 foot of him. We'll see. He might get mistaken for a PLL player at some point, probably. But yeah, it's exciting time, so it should be fun this weekend. Minnesota's always the best, and this time of year, can't beat it.
And if you are new to the show, follow us at FEOTB Pod. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have plenty of episodes to go back through the backlog. We had a really fun time last week checking out the top episodes of this past year, and now we're getting ready to make some more. We are also a member of the All Gloves Off Sports Media Network. So you saw our ad at the beginning. Check those guys out. You can also, if you don't see us through our channel and you're watching us through the All Gloves Off Sports Media YouTube channel, hi, welcome to Colorado, where things are a little bit higher in elevation, and we have some pretty, I will say, steep opinions. And last little bit of, irrelevant news, not necessarily irrelevant, but not what we're going to be getting into for the topics. I will be at the final preseason game this weekend because I pulled the short straw and had to get the final preseason game tickets for our season tickets. So Carly and I are going to our first game this season. I think that we'll be able to go to a regular season game. And I had a little bit of hope, a very small sliver of hope that I could possibly see Bo Nix. But after his performance this last weekend, I'm like, yeah, he's not even going to have, like, he's going to be in team gear. He's going to be in sweats and a t-shirt on the sidelines next to Davis Webb. He's like, oh, I want to listen to how he calls plays in the headset. And Sean Payton's going to be like, okay, Bo, here's a headset. You stand next to Davis, and you guys can talk about what he's seeing on the field. Because you ain't playing after you went, I think it was like 5 of 8 for 130-something yards and a touchdown. First touchdown between him and Jalen Waddle.
No, it wasn't even Waddle. It was
it was set up by the Waddle catch, and then it was first touchdown back to.
But yeah, it was. I mean, like two scoring drives, and yeah, adios. I mean, like that's what you want as a contending team. It's like you want your first team to look good when they're out there, and then everyone else you're fighting. Look, this is what I've realized as a contending team, as a good team football team, right? These preseason games mean a couple things. It's one, make sure your starters get some legs underneath them. Jalen Waddle got to experience Mile High for the first time. I thought that was pretty funny hearing him say all the different things about, holy crap, the mascot standing on top of the Jumbotron. I thought that was pretty funny. And like have your ones get some confidence, right? And that's what you did. And the other part is like seeing, okay, something's going to happen. There's always an injury. There's always something that happens. Who is going to be reliable? That's literally what it is. Is like you're not necessarily fighting for a roster spot when you're a contending team because your roster spots are basically you're fighting for 3 spots. There's not many roster spots available. You know who's roster at this point. It is like who's going to be the reliable guy if someone goes down. And you saw how important that was last year. It would have been a lot if we had a more reliable backup quarterback. We could have been the Super Bowl. So like when you go into these preseason games, that's all Sean Payton's reading. It's all he's looking at. He's getting Davis Webb's reps as a OC or as the play caller, and you're just looking at like, all right, can I trust this guy? Can this guy step up when I need him in regular season and playoffs if guys go down?
Yeah, I don't think that there's an issue with it. You basically assume like this is the week that you pretend all your starters are hurt, knock on wood. And then you can see what spots don't look absolutely terrible. It's all going to look terrible because a lot of these guys, no offense to them, they're just not at the level that we're accustomed to seeing, and that we've actually, we saw a lot of starters this year in the preseason, a lot more than since they made the switch to 3 games. And it's going to come back up again when we get to awards, but the injury bug is fully attacking the NFL right now. Ashton Genty, a guy who you leaned on in fantasy last year, is going to be out 8 weeks with a high ankle sprain. So this is
keyword was last year.
I know
that news dropped right before the draft.
That news dropped right before it was last year. And I'm taking some influence over, that was a good pick for you last year. He was pretty consistent. Yeah. If I get one of the better rookie running backs, I might have a better running back room in mind. So I'm going to tease it there. I do have a rookie running back who I don't think a lot of people he wasn't the number 1 in his situation last year. That's all I'll say. And now we can get into our college football talk. We are going to go through the main conferences. I'm not going to force Niko. It would be like Niko trying to force me to pick the Maui Invitational for college basketball season. It's just not going to happen. But we'll go the big conferences, Big 12, ACC, Big 10, SEC, and I'll throw in the Pac-12 just because it's new this year and it also has CSU in it.
Yeah, so. Not even the Big 12. Damn.
No, I said Big 12.
I said Big 12. I was going to say not the Pac-12. I thought you said the Pac-12 and not the Big 12. But okay, that works. We can do either one.
No,
I'm not going to be able to give you 1 through 10 of each conference, but I'll give you.
I just want the winner.
Win. Yeah, exactly.
I just want the winner, and I have some dark horses that I think might be interesting, especially based on the odds that came out. Before we get into conferences specifically, the AP Top 25, so the official rankings going into this week 0, Ohio State number 1, Oregon number 2, Georgia number 3, Notre Dame number 4, Texas is 5. Defending national champion Indiana was number 6. I had a big issue with Joel Klatt's list putting them down at 5. People are sleeping on what Cignetti's program is, I think, gearing up to be, because I think that they've actually made their roster. It all depends on if Hoover can stop turning the ball over, but Indiana has a quarterback that can run an offense. They have a better running back. Like, this running back is a true number 1. They had 2 number 1s last year. This guy, he's not going to share carries at all. They had the best offensive line in the entire country last year, and They brought a lot of people back. So I think that Indiana is getting a little bit disrespected. It'll be interesting how we see it when we get to the Big Ten. But we'll start in the ACC. I texted you just a few weeks ago. Miami has never won an ACC football championship. Their last conference championship was, I believe, 2003, which was the last season of Big East football at the Division I level. They have not been able to break through the glass ceiling, and there's been a lot of years. It's not just the Cristobal years. I remember back when Manny Diaz had them in the ACC championship against Clemson, and everybody was believing, oh, they have a chance to knock Debo off. They're going to be the next team out of the ACC that challenges Alabama, and they got their absolute doors blown off. They are the favorite to win the conference. They're the national runner-up. They were the second best team in the entire country based on how the playoff bracket shook out last year, and they won a game on the road in the playoffs, and they were an underdog throughout the rest of their journey. So it's not like they didn't earn it, but where are you looking with the ACC? Is it Miami's year, or can you say that until they prove it?
I mean, Miami, like the after what last season happened, like you got to really back them. Like obviously, it's hard to think that they still have never won an ACC championship, but I feel like the rest of this conference doesn't really give me a lot of hope. Maybe Florida State, if they go on a run like they usually do. Clemson's the other conversation, obviously, right? Clemson's always a competitive team with
they've been quietly stockpiling transfers because we said a few years ago, Dabo's like, I won't get transfers, and then the last few years he's like, okay, I'll take a few. Come here.
Which like you said, that could even play field get Clemson back up to the top, because when they were at the top of their peak, they were getting some of the best recruiting classes in the country. So I mean, I if I were to guess, I would say in between those two teams, dark horse probably go with the North Carolina, just in case Bill gets it going over there, which I don't know if he will, but yeah, those I would lean towards Miami doing that as well.
So Miami, with their betting odds right now, minus 140. So it's not like they're a huge favorite, but they have a pretty big gap between them and the next team. I was
gonna say the fact that you're the odds-on favorite and you're minus odds is like telling, in my opinion. Usually you don't see that.
And this is going to make it even more solidified. SMU has the next best odds to win the ACC at plus 650. So that's over 500 gambling points difference when you put into the factor the favorite and the underdog. The dark horse that I was thinking of, and it's mainly because of the coaching change that happened, but James Franklin and Virginia Tech could be something, and they have plus 2,800 odds. So if you're around Virginia Tech, or maybe they start off hot, that number is going to go down slightly. But if Miami looks good, Virginia Tech's number might not change. And the ACC was the weirdest conference last year. They had a 5-loss team get into their conference championship somehow and then win it. So it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility. This one, if I was looking just betting wise, Virginia Tech would be a very, you don't have to put much on it. That would be a very interesting bet to make for them to win the conference. But I think that Miami, I want to put faith in them. It's just still, that was my question. Yes, Miami, instead of, no, Miami. It's like, there's still hesitation until they actually get it done. There's always going to be hesitation, but there truly is no other team in this conference. This is what I think has been the weakest of the Power Four over the last 3 years. Nobody else is going to be, I won't say nobody else, but as of right now, I can't see anybody else. If I close my eyes, I can't picture anybody else coming out of the ACC. The Big Ten.
Unless we have a team that's just goes
maybe Duke got rid of their quarterback and they have a crazy year under Manny Diaz because he got them a conference championship last year.
Exactly. So unless something crazy like that happens, it will probably be Miami.
Moving on to the Big Ten, we have, I guess, not really a vested interest, but this has been one of the best conferences in the country. I can't say the best because I don't want to get yelled at by different regions of the country, but the Big Ten has the most recent 3 national champions: Indiana, the defending national champion and conference champion. The favorite betting-wise, Ohio State at plus 180. From there, you go Oregon at plus 240. Washington is another team that I think is looking for a bounce back. They have their quarterback back, even though that was a really weird emotional saga, legal saga, where he signed a contract and thought he could enter the transfer portal. And they said, no, you can't do that. So he's back. They are at plus 2,400. So I think that would probably be the basement if I was looking to put money on this conference. Where are you sitting? Because I think the interesting question is not 2 teams, but 3 teams: Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana. Of those 3 teams, who do you think is going to be geared up the most to take this conference this year?
I mean, I would say Ohio State. Yes, Ignetti is awesome and he's really good. I think you look at the talent that he graduated / sent off to the NFL, not just last year, but the year before that too. And the team is even though it is like they've just come out for the national championship, it's still like a team that like is below the top echelon of the premier college football teams, and then you're talking about Ohio State, Michigan, and Oregon being that, right? Like even if Indiana continues, and they could, it's going to take at least 20, 30 years to get to the prestige level of those schools in their history. And that's no slight to them, because obviously they're reigning national champions. But you look at those two schools and look at the other schools in the Big Ten. Like even throw USC in there, that could be a team that people are sleeping on a lot on. Like there are teams throughout the Big Ten that will give each other headaches consistently on a daily basis, where it'll never be an easy game. Penn State now, James Franklin.
I was going to say this is also the easiest schedule Penn State has broken since the new the Big Ten expansion. They don't have to play Ohio State this year, and I think they either don't play Michigan or get to play Michigan at home. So if James Franklin had this schedule, he probably only loses a game, maybe goes undefeated, and he's back in a conference championship. But we all know college football. I love coaching high school football. There's no way in hell I would want to coach college football right now, just because of the way that they have boosters that can buy you out. And yeah, it's really nice to make money not having to do anything, but he was half a second away from getting one of the biggest wins of his tenure at that school. And then the next week, following it up with an absolutely terrible loss, and they fire him after 10 years of really decent, not decent, I'll say really good football. Because Penn State for 10 years under James Franklin was really good. They are now Iowa State East, because funny enough, Iowa State is actually a little bit further north than Penn State if you look at it geographically on the map. But Matt Campbell goes from Iowa State, and he's now the head coach at Penn State. He's bringing in his quarterback, I believe Rocco Becht is coming with him. Is there a chance, do you think, that Penn State could possibly be one of those dark horse teams along with the Washington that we mentioned earlier?
I think I would put other teams as more of dark horses. I think USC, like I said previously, is more of a dark horse. I look at Michigan. That's a weird one to say that they're a dark horse, but like they had a bad year last year. Like they had a really bad year.
And now they have a coach that's not worried about banging undergrads or
exactly.
grad assistants, and he's actually established himself as he's a man of the gospel. Kenny Dillingham. No, Kyle Whittingham. I did that last week too. Yeah. It's the 3-syllable last names, but Kyle Whittingham. He was the man. Like the reason why Utah is in the situation that they are is because they had Whittingham as the coach for 20 years. He got them from the Mountain West into the Big 12 and then consistently competing with the top of the Big 12. So it's not like it's a terrible thing for your program that lost their AD because he stepped down before all the sanctions come, and then your coach from last year got arrested. It's been a long time, so if you forgot,
that's what I'm saying.
He was arrested.
I kudos to Penn State and kudos to like teams like Nebraska and maybe even Iowa and Michigan State you can throw in there, but like I think that top echelon is Ohio State, Michigan, Indiana, USC, and Oregon. Like I think that's where your top 5 looks at. And sorry, I'll say it. I know you don't like saying it, but I'll say it. This is easily the best conference. Like I understand Georgia, Bama's over there. Like you haven't won a national championship in 4 years. Like that does mean something, okay?
And when they were winning national championships, it was 1 or 2 teams that were actually winning the titles. The Big
exactly, and you only fought through 4 teams. You have not made have they made a? They haven't.
No, the closest they've got was the semifinal.
I was going to say they haven't made a national championship. They haven't made the national championship since moving it to 12 teams. Like that shows you how easy the SEC is when it comes to the bottom feeders of their conference, and how much different the Big Ten is. Even the ACC with Miami, and like even the Big 12, making it that far with TCU not too long ago. This is the best conference in football, and they'll show it again this year. Like I think Ohio State has another great year, and I think that they go on this long run. But I think it's Ohio State's Oregon's conference to lose.
I believe so. Making one team, one pick. Who do you picture this year as the Big Ten champion?
It's Ohio State.
Okay. Yeah. I think that it's going to be Oregon, and as of right now, I think that it can be Oregon, Ohio State again. I believe.
Is Mahomes Jr. the starter, or is it somebody else?
No. It's still Dante Moore. Dante Moore didn't go to the NFL. Remember?
That's right. He's still there. That's right.
And we talked about hesitation with Miami. There's now hesitation with Oregon. Because, they've put together really good seasons, and I'm in no way saying that Dan Lanning should be on the hot seat. But every time that they end their season, they get their ass kicked. Like I said it a couple weeks ago, they still haven't got off the bus to play the Rose Bowl against Ohio State. They're still all sitting there. Dylan Gabriel is like, okay, I know I'm supposed to be in Cleveland, but can we play now? And last year, Indiana was what Indiana was, but that game wasn't close from the beginning. You threw a pick 6 on like play 3. And from there, you were never within 14 points after they got the ball back. So it's a little bit worrisome to me, but I do think the talent and the coach have the ability to break that threshold. But where do you see Oregon, I guess, at this point?
I mean, like Oregon, like one thing I was realizing when I was at Ohio State this past month, and someone told me this, was like, yeah, Ohio State's the #1 funded Nike school, and I was like, oh, is it not Oregon? He's like, no, Ohio State wins championships. Oregon wins track and field championships, and that's it. It's like they haven't won anything in basketball. If they've won a football championship, it's been over 100 years. Like it's been a very, very long time. If they have ever won it, like they have never won a championship there. Like that is a school that has had some of the best talent in the country year in and year out, but they fail when it comes to the big stage every single year. And when you look at Ohio State on the other side, Michigan on the side, even like USC, even like there's lineage there that have won, that have been there, done that, and like I think we're in a situation where like you're looking at Oregon and you're like, damn, the Big 12 move may have been the worst decision they could have had, or sorry, Big 10 move may have been one of the worst decisions they could have had, because plain and simple, like they go through hard schedules. They succeed, right? Last couple of years they went through their hard schedules, beat Oregon beat Ohio State during the regular season, right? Had some great runs, but when it comes to postseason, you almost blow your tire too early. And this team isn't built for a 3-4 game postseason run. It's built for 12 games and one national championship game. And this day and age, it's a different way of thinking, different way of your team. Like the run and gun style of Oregon of the late, it ain't gonna work for 16 games. It works for 12, 13 maybe. It does not work for 16 games in that long run, and that's what we've seen is they've blew their casket off in the last couple playoffs. So I think Oregon's still a very good football team, and obviously having Dante Moore back helps them a lot. But it's definitely something to think about if you're Oregon and the way they do things.
It is also interesting to note the quarterbacks under Dan Lanning over the last few years, it's been the second season that they've been in the program. Dylan Gabriel had a much better season the second year he was with Oregon. Bo Nix had a much better year the second year he was with Dan Lanning in Oregon. Dante Moore might be the most talented naturally of the quarterbacks that he's had, and this is going to be his second year as a starter, but his like fourth year in the program because he's been there and was a backup to some of these guys that have gone on and started to produce at the next level. So it would be interesting. I would, if I'm going very smart, Ohio State or Indiana would be my pick because I just have a lot of faith in what they're building out there in Bloomington. But just with the upside, Oregon might have the best upside out of any team in the country, and I think it only is rivaled by Texas, which is good because we're getting into the SEC next. The SEC has Georgia ranked number 3, Texas ranked number 5, A&M is number 8, Ole Miss is number 9. Oklahoma is 10, LSU is 11, Bama is 13, Tennessee is 20, and 25 is Missouri. So what you just said about the Big Ten being the best conference, I know what people are going to say now because they have the most amount of teams that are ranked in the top 25 AP preseason-wise. But it's been a really weird few years for them because they can't just walk around and bully people, and they really don't like being on the other side. They liked it when they could just walk in and say, oh, Saban will win this one for us. And then every year that Saban got beat by Kirby Smart, oh, actually, that never happened. Then the last couple of years, it was, oh, okay, Kirby Smart will take care of this for us. Now it's a prove-it year for the SEC. Of course, you're really good. You need a team to make a national championship. If I were to script this, SEC versus Big Ten in the national championship game, and probably Georgia or Alabama or Texas going up against Ohio State would be the best outcome for college football itself. But with the SEC, what are you thinking about going into the season this year?
I mean, like, I think the major storylines coming in the SEC. It's around Texas and it's around Arch Manning having his second year as a starting quarterback at Texas, and what you said with those second year quarterbacks at Oregon, I would argue it's the same thing for Texas quarterbacks with Ellinger, with McCoy. Like he was in a national championship game in his second year. Like that's a normal thing for Texas quarterbacks, and this conference has great depth and a lot of great teams. But I say here, and it's like yeah, we're only going to take 3 of you in the postseason, probably, right? Because you all beat the crap out of each other for that. And who are the 3 going to be, right? Who are the 3 going to be that are going to scare the hell out of Ohio State? Who's going to scare the hell out of some of these other schools in the Big Ten? It's probably going to be Texas. It's probably going to be Georgia. And then who's that third team could be? Because I could see it being LSU. I could see it being Oklahoma one year. I could see it being some of these other teams. Not necessarily.
Ole Miss, I think, is going to try and do everything that they can to prove that it wasn't Lane Kiffin's team that made that run last year, even though it's still hilarious. Yeah. They paid him like tens of millions of dollars for those playoff wins last year. Lane Kiffin has the best. I need Lane Kiffin's agent. You just need to work out every contract for me. So if somebody else does my job and still gets it done, I get paid for that. Because that was insane. LSU, I think, they're not picked as the dark horse. Florida is another one that people are starting to lean on. I think that LSU could be a very quick swing. They're either going to be what they were under Brian Kelly, or they're going to have this incredible I think that it's probably the latter. Like Lane Kiffin, we talked about him, and we love to talk about him because he is the most toxic head coach in college football. But I don't think that there's a better person to call an offensive game from the sidelines. He can diagnose a defense faster than anybody that I've seen. He knows the exact play in his playbook that he's going to call. He sets things up the way that he wants to. When you play defense against the Lane Kiffin offense, you're not just playing against the film that you watch, you're also playing against what you are doing currently on the field. He can make adjustments that fast. My question is, he's bringing in a quarterback that he's never worked with. Sam Leavitt is a legend because of what he did at Arizona State with Scatterbo, but this is going to be his first time in SEC football. It's a little bit worrisome, but I think that they're could be really good or just really mediocre like they have been for the last few years. Is it going to be a 7-win season, or is this going to be another 12, 13, possibly even a 16-win season like we were talking about last week with Burrow? They're like the biggest volatile piece in this mix.
Yeah, I mean, them, like I said, them and Bama are probably the most volatile in terms of, like, you could see them going up all the way and then or falling off straight off a cliff. Like that's weird to say about Alabama, but this is not Saban. This is DeBoer is the coach still, right? DeBoer.
Yeah, DeBoer is still the coach. Unfortunately, for all the people in Tuscaloosa, DeBoer is still the coach.
I was gonna say, like DeBoer doesn't make a playoff this year. like that man's packing. That man can go back to Washington because they'll be finding a new head coach soon. Because I mean, look, I'm not around the Bama circles like I used to be, okay? And I know maybe you're more up to date in all this, but I'm sure they're not happy about their professional football team over there not making the playoff for 2 straight years, and now, or maybe it's 1 straight year, but last year being not competitive.
Last year they won a game on the road in the playoff, so that was like
either
they
way,
beat Oklahoma in Norman, but then
a non-Final Four team.
No, I know, and when they lost in the Rose Bowl, that's 2 years in a row that the Rose Bowl has been the least competitive game in the entire playoff bracket because they got Indiana threw the ball 16 times. They ran it 45 times for like 300 yards. That's not just beating you. That was Cignetti holding your face down on the table. It's like, I want you to say hoo Hoosiers, and you're going to say hoo Hoosiers as much as I want you to say it. That's what that was.
Which is wild from obviously an Indiana versus an Alabama football school to think like that. But yeah, I mean, like those are the 2 teams that I mean, like Georgia has the talent. Like they'll be there, I think, in my opinion. Obviously, Texas, I'm always high on Texas. I think Arch Manning will really prove this year why he should be the number 1 overall pick in the draft next year, and probably will be Cleveland Brown. So like I think that those are the 2 teams, and if I were a betting man, I would put my money on LSU to be that 3rd team over Alabama. I just don't. I trust Lane Kiffin more than DeBoer right now, and I think that after what he did with Ole Miss last year, I think he has more resources at LSU and can do even more damage.
And I think the biggest thing for him is he's going to be himself. That's what Lane Kiffin always is he's just who he is. He's not going to have some fake Southern accent like Brian Kelly did when he was introduced at the basketball game. That's not how he's going to roll. Moving on to the Big 12. The favorite is once again Texas Tech, and I feel like most of these conversations go back to what we saw last year in the most recent time that we've seen them play. Texas Tech's defense was a monster. Jacob Rodriguez, David Bailey, dudes all up and down the lineup. Their offense was absolute shit in the playoff, and I think that their quarterback, Baron Morton, was still hurt. He was trying to come back and play, and the guy that was his backup is now going to be the starter. they're probably not going to get touched by anybody in the Big 12 except for maybe BYU, which is the next closest. Texas Tech is the odds-on favorite. And I like Joey McGuire, but just you had all of that drama in the offseason with Sorsby, and you became the biggest villain in college football for like the span of 2 weeks until the NFL and the NCAA finally grew a backbone and said, yeah, no, you can't do that. Let's just move on and go from there. I think that they kind of they've shot themselves in the foot before they even started. Like they're trying to run this race, giving everybody a 3-second head start because they didn't have to worry about all this politics over the summer. They were able to just go in, watch Texas Tech film, and figure out how they're going to beat the Red Raiders when it comes time in the fall. I'm having a little bit of second thoughts about Texas Tech and where I think they're going to finish in this conference, even though I think they're going to be one of the more talented teams in the Big 12.
Yeah, I still think they're the most talented team in the Big 12. I think this is a conference that only sees one team, and you have two teams on the bubble that miss it. Like when it comes to the 12-team playoff, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like I think it's BYU. You can see Utah making a run there. UCF maybe. Like even Houston Cougars could do some damage there. They've gotten a lot better. I think that's who you're looking at in this conference. And I still don't think any of those teams I just mentioned are better than Texas Tech. Like I think it's Tech's to lose, and even if their offense doesn't score 20 points a game, their defense will hold them to under 10, and they'll still run through this conference because that's how bad the defenses are in this conference. So,
and I do want to say I still like Joey McGuire as a guy and a coach. I think that he was probably forced into being a part of that whole debacle that happened over the summer. He probably had a little bit more say. He could have stopped it before, but I think that he was kind of.
It's also a guy that wasn't in your program and a guy that you like saw on the transfer report and be like, oh yeah, this is an option. Like, why would you not
if he's
that,
available
right?
to play for you, you might as well take that chance. But maybe I'm giving them a little bit too much flack. They obviously had to see that this could blow up in their face pretty spectacularly. I don't know if they imagined that they'd have to put out that. You remember that weird ass like 20-minute long video where it's just 4 guys at a table? It's like, okay, we're going to say all of their true. And they looked down at the barrel of the camera and winked. All of the true facts about how this Brendan Sorsby situation ended up happening at our doorstep. It's like, you didn't say anything that was true. That entire thing was scripted. And I think that you put that entire script through AI. So you have not given us any more information. And now I hate you even more because you're just repeating. You're not being honest. Just be honest. Like what we just said. We thought the guy was going to be able to help us win. He was available in the transfer portal. And at the time, the NCAA said he was going to be able to play. Everybody tries to do something like that in the offseason. It's just not necessarily always on that big of a scale.
Yeah, that's fair. My last question on the Big 12, does CU make the top half of it? Do they contend? Are they around there? Like I don't – like when I look at the Big 12, I'm like, there's not like a team's like going to kill them. Like they're not – CU's by no means any good. But
their
like,
game against Tech, I think, is going to be the most embarrassing. But everything else, they should be able to at least be competitive. Like,
have a chance.
I think that a CU successful season would be they look like how they did in the Georgia Tech game, minus the turnovers and everything, but just competing going into the fourth quarter, and you win a few of those games. Yeah. Because this is now a team starting from square one, and we've always talked about it. You have to learn how not to lose. You have to learn how to win close. Then you learn how to win big, and then you just know how to win. So they're still at that very first echelon, like keep things close, steal a few games that nobody expected. Like we said last week, if they get to 6, cool. And that might put them right in the middle of the entire conference. But you're picked to finish dead last, which you've been picked to finish dead last 2 seasons since Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders graduated. So it's not like it can get any worse, is my feeling.
Can't get any worse at all.
The Pac-12, the new era of the Pac-12. The members are Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Oregon State, San Diego State, Texas State, Utah State, and Washington State. This is just the state conference. This is
the Pac State 12.
Oh man, I didn't even realize that until we said it last week, but now seeing it all written out again, it's weird. Boise State is the odds-on favorite, plus 135. The next team with the best odds is San Diego State at plus 400. And a surprise twist, Texas State, out of San Marcos, Texas, the Bobcats, they are moving from the Sun Belt into this Pac-12. They are the 3rd best odds right now at plus 500. Now, that is a program that has been in Division I football, I think, since 2017. And I only really know Texas State because of the Rise of the Roadrunner stuff, because Texas State and UTSA are the biggest rivals that those two schools have. So they came in together at Division I, and I believe 2017, and they've kind of been building side by side. And now this is the biggest spotlight that anybody will ever have over the city of San Marcos and the school of Texas State. If they can somehow pull something off like that at plus 500, maybe we have another school out of Texas that we got to start paying attention to. People didn't even know Texas State existed up until very recently.
So the important question I think that we have to have is that, like, because I think Boise State still wins this conference, is like, do you think this conference schedule hurts them or helps them more than what the Pac-12 did, or sorry, Big Mountain West did? Because I would argue and say that Fresno State, San Diego State, Texas State, yeah, you're giving them their love. Utah State, like, aren't as good as some of the other teams in the Big 12, or sorry, Mountain West. Sorry, I keep referencing the team. Like,
the teams that you just mentioned are all former Mountain West teams except for Texas State. Utah State, right. Fresno State, and San Diego State are all former Mountain West teams.
You're right. So never mind.
It's going to be basically the same situation for Boise. Like, you are going to have to go undefeated through your conference and possibly win an out of conference game that you schedule, probably against Boise, or not Boise, probably against BYU, and go to Provo and see if you can beat a Big 12 school, and that'll beef your resume. I still don't know how they're considering the Pac-12, because I feel like, obviously, with the schools that are in it, it should be considered as a group of 5. But technically, that was one of the Power 5 conferences. So are you going to give the conference back the prestige that it once had because they finally got the schools to fill it back up? Or, I mean, there's no rules in college football, so we really don't know what the committee is going to do.
I think the Power 5 is gone. It's a Power 4 now. And I think the conversation comes to me, and I think it's a fair question to you, because you know more about the other schools than I do. It's like, if Boise State drops 2, say, in conference games.
If they drop 2 in conference games, they're not even sniffing anywhere close to the playoff bracket.
I was going to say, like does this conference not even get represented? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're looking at an American team, a Conference USA team, like a MAC school, even like even a Mountain West maybe that runs the table. You know what I mean? Like I think that you have to have a team run the table in this conference to have a representative still. Like that's bad to say, but like you're looking for that 5th conference championship spot. We've said it in years past, right? Like, it was Boise State to lose when they were in the Mountain West. But now with these other conferences, like you talked about, Conference USA has some good teams. The American Conference has some really good teams, right? Like even the Mountain West, if they have a team that goes nuclear and doesn't lose, say Air Force, for instance, goes undefeated, right? And Boise State loses 2 games but wins their conference championship, and Air Force runs the table, wins the Mountain West, they might be in over that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how they're going to figure that out, but I think this conference, like, it's going to be a while, and these teams are going to need to grow and become a lot better if they want to be still in that top 4 conversation.
Yeah, and I think the unfortunate thing, too, is they're going to need more than just Boise to start giving themselves back what they used to have with the Pac-12. And with the way that the schedule works out and there's so few teams in your conference, everybody's going to beat the absolute dog shit out of everyone. Like Boise, as much as we said Boise's going to have to run the table, it's pretty likely that Boise's going to have 1 or 2 stinkers that they put out in a season. And if you go on the road, like I think of that early season Hawaii game that all of the Mountain West teams normally have. And they go out to Hawaii and they get absolutely rained on because the Rainbow Warriors love scoring 60 when they're at home. One of those weekends could absolutely tank your season. Like, I don't know if I'm Boise State's coach or athletic director, that I'm very happy with this switch. I would rather stay in the Mountain West because at least they have some sort of name backing. Nobody knows what to expect out of this one. No, it's truly like, unless you can get maybe Cal or Stanford to feel like cross country travel is just not worth it. Maybe let's go into the Pac-12 and beef up a little bit. Like it's a little bit worrisome.
Because I'm sitting here being like, if Boise State does, I mean, like, this is like weird to say this because I still think that the Sun Belt and the Sun Belt is worse than the newly formed Pac-12, but I think you look at schools like Coastal Carolina in the past that went on these deep runs were last second bids to get a chance to play in the playoff. If they go on a deep run, right? If you look at
James Madison is in that same conference, and James Madison hasn't had less than 10 wins in a season since Ignetti took over as head coach.
And you even go up to the American as well. Like, there's some teams there that are really, really like deadly too. Like
Tulane was in the playoff last year.
Tulane was a playoff team. Like That's what I'm saying. It's this newly Pac-12 form. I think we see this is going to be bad to say because Boise State being in the conference helps it a lot. But I think we see a situation where a Conference USA, American, or Sun Belt team goes on a Final Four run before Boise State does again. I don't know. I feel like
this
Pac-12.
And you remember when Boise was in the big bracket the last time, right?
I know.
Absolutely dog walked,
yeah.
By nobody.
I think it was by Penn State. It wasn't. Yeah.
No, Penn State got SMU. I can't remember who got Boise.
Gosh, it was someone else in the second round. But yeah, either way, we're in that situation where the Pac-12. You're going to need Oregon State and Washington State to show that they were former Big Five power schools. If this conference is going to be doing anything.
When those schools were in the Power Five, I think they averaged 3 wins a season.
Exactly.
They were not like power. The reason why they're back in this Pac-12 is because they are this is also, you could say, the Pac-12 little brother conference, because every single school except for Boise is the little brother in their state and in their region. That's literally the biggest thing in Idaho is Boise State. Or I guess I'm going to get people pissed off from Idaho State and Idaho, but I guess there's five. There's 5 of you. I can handle that. No, Boise. That is the biggest thing there. And if it's not successful, I don't even know who the coach is. That's terrible.
Yeah, because here's the question. I think CSU could win this conference.
That's another.
I think
that's
with Jim
good for
Mora,
us. That's good for us. But it's also thinking about CSU was 3-8 last year, and if they're a team that you can, I agree with you. I can close my eyes and I could see Colorado State Pac-12 champions
playing in the Pac-12 championship game, right? You could imagine Jim Mora and Colorado.
Wouldn't that
State
be hilarious if CSU got a Pac-12 championship before CU?
Boy, that'd be that'd be an all-timer. That is very, very funny that way. But I see a situation I'm sorry, I'm not sipping the Kool-Aid of any of the other teams. No. I'm not. I think CSU. I know CSU. I'm sorry. I know CSU is going to be better than Texas State, in my opinion. I know they're going to be better than Utah State. I think they'll be. I know they'll be better than Fresno State. I think the wild cards are San Diego State, Oregon State, Washington State. And obviously Boise, who I think is the best team in the conference. I think there's a possibility where they can go on a run. Because that conference schedule is a lot easier. I'm sorry.
Somebody posted this under one of our clips from last week because we were talking about CSU, and they said Jim Mora got UConn to finish with a 12-win season. He can do anything.
I know.
He can literally do everything.
That's what I'm saying. It's I think you and I are both in the same boat here, being I don't think it'd be that shocking to us if Colorado State was in that Pac-12 championship game.
It's going to be taken as a freezing cold take right now, but I think by the end of the season, we're going to be sitting back and be like, there might be something in Fort Collins.
There might be something, exactly.
There might be something way up north out there.
Jim Mora might know what he's doing over there.
Oh, that was I really enjoyed that. So using all of that information, if you had to pick a national champion today, who are you picking?
Dude, I have no fucking clue.
It's really hard now with a 16-team bracket, right?
I have no clue. I have no clue because, I've seen.
Which conference do you think they're going to come out of?
See, that's the thing is, I could even go no conference, go Notre Dame. I think that's
damn it!
You know what I mean?
This is why we've been friends for so long, because I was hoping you were going to pick the SEC, and I said, well, no conference is going to win it because Notre Dame. Why not?
It's I don't know. I've seen a few brackets and preseason mocks of what the bracket will look like and who's going to be winning it, who's going to be losing it, and what it'll look like. And Pete Thamel picked Miami. I forgot. I saw one with Notre Dame. I saw another one with Ohio State. That's the best part about college football right now. It's I'm going to watch these playoff games in December and coming January that I have no idea who's going to win. I seriously have no idea who's going to win. It's not necessarily because I don't know enough about them, because literally these teams are coin flips. And I mean I think last year we could confidently say that Indiana was going to be a good team. I don't know if we were going to the nuclear status they were, but a good team
for the first time in program history.
Exactly.
Conference championship and national championship. No, I didn't.
We didn't think that. We didn't think that. We thought they'd be a playoff team again.
Yes.
But I don't know if we see another team like that. I think if I were a betting man, which I'm not anymore, I think I would lean Ohio State. I don't know, and maybe that's just because I'm watching. I know what Ryan Day is going to give me, and I think that this Ohio State team still has the best weapon in college football, and Jeremiah Smith still on their team, and they still have a lot of great talent. I think that now that they cut the cord with not McCord, who was the guy last year? Oh my
No, it was Shane last year.
No, saying it was now that they're past that way, and Saying has a second year under him. Like I think that
he was a redshirt freshman last year, by the way. People forgot about that. He was his second year in college football, and he was starting for the Ohio State Buckeyes and had to host Texas in his first ever game as a starter.
Yeah, that was the other team I was gonna say, but like I can't say it because like I just know it's not gonna happen. Like I can say Texas, but
we're back.
I just know it's not gonna happen. Like
that's who I'm gonna watch this Friday. I just put it together. I'm gonna watch Sam Ehlinger quarterback the Broncos on Friday against the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, you are. I hope he wins the backup quarterback job. I think it's Ohio State. I think it's Ohio State, and then I think it's Notre Dame. Like those are my two teams. I think I would back in terms of winning it all. I don't. Like if I'm picking a dark horse, because the last couple of years we've had teams go on runs to a national championship game that you're like, oh,
Miami was the 10 seed.
Exactly, like a team that goes on a deep run that you're like, wow, where did this team come from? If I were doing that for a school, I think I'm picking LSU. I'm serious. Like if I'm picking a 9 seed, 10 seed, not necessarily to win the conference, a team that's probably not going to be in the conference championship, but that makes it in off a good record, I think LSU could be that. Like I think that school with that team and that offense firepower and the resources Lane Kiffin has, I think it's a team that makes the national championship, doesn't win it, but makes it. But yeah, I think I'll back Ohio State and I'll back Notre Dame. Ohio State, I would say, is my champion.
And the last time that LSU had their magical season, they were picked to be very middle of the pack in the SEC. Joe Burrow was, if he was ever going to get drafted, he was going to be a day 3 guy in round 6 or 7. 6 or 7. I love doing that now. We've gone full circle because I do that back to my kids now, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's not even cool." I was like, "Exactly. You guys made my life hell for a year. Now I get to do it."
Not necessarily you, but the grade above you did, and now you're having to deal with it.
Well, they did it too. You can't tell me the 6th Raiders last year weren't walking 6, 7, especially at my school. My principal is legit 6. He's not 6, 7. He's 6'8". So people will walk around and say that he was. Moving from. Actually, because I made you give me your national champion predictions. I'm not going to give Notre Dame the credit because I'm really pissed off at what they did at the end of last season. Whether or not you believe in bowl games anymore, you can't tell me that there wasn't a majority of players in the Notre Dame locker room that wanted one more game as a Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and they fucking robbed those kids of that opportunity. So that really sits not well with me, and they can say what they want about it, but I just don't believe them because I feel like that was a terrible decision that they made. Not going to go Texas. I would say Georgia is going to be my dark horse. Like Georgia is going to – I think they're going to they had the SEC championship last year, but they lost to Alabama in the regular season. I think they reclaimed the throne. I think they are finally flying under the radar since they were really good in winning those titles. And Gunnar Stockton, again, another year that he's been a starter, and he is consistent. Do they have the best skill positions on the outside? No. Their defense is going to hold everybody under 25 points, and Gunnar Stockton's going to run. And it's basically going to look like Oklahoma last year, but Oklahoma hosted a playoff game last year. I think that Georgia is much better and has more prestige. So I would pick Georgia if I was going to go just straight up. Like you had to lock me into an answer. I'm thinking Bulldogs right now. That is withstanding any traffic violations that they get in the next few weeks leading up to the season. But I am going to sit here and I can hang my hat out there in Athens and I'll get my grace from the Georgia fans.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are the two heavy hitters. Like I think that's like obviously Notre Dame's a heavy hitter, Texas is a heavy hitter, Oregon's a heavy hitter. But like if you're like thinking about it, I think you see one of those two schools lifting the trophy at the end.
Yeah. Moving from the college ranks into the professional ranks, we're gonna do a twofer because it always does this, but it kind of sneaks up on us. So we've been doing one conference and division each week. Now we're gonna do just both conferences in the same division. We're looking east. We're going to start in the AFC. The Bills were the AFC champion last season. They move on from Sean McDonough. They bring in Joe Brady.
They weren't the AFC champion.
Oh, no, right. They were 12-5 last year. They were 12-5.
They were second.
They were
a wild card team.
They move on from Sean McDonough, and they elevate Joe Brady from offensive coordinator to head coach, which is the first time that he's been a head coach at the college or pro level. I believe maybe there was a situation he was an interim. That is a lot of trust to put in a guy that's never done it before. The Patriots, their coaching has been out in the open the entire offseason. There's a reason why you don't see Diana Rossini articles anymore. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But there's a reason. And if you need to Google it, go to TMZ. They have all of that information and all of that other stuff. But just know that they've been having a lot that's going on. They do pick up AJ Brown, which is interesting. The Jets were 3-14.
And let me just stop you right there. Then there's two other teams. We know what we want to talk about here.
Tua's no longer in Miami.
I know.
Tyreek Hill's no longer in Miami. Jalen Waddle's no longer in Miami. So it's going to look different.
You're right. And Geno Smith is a Jet again. Like that's all you really need to say about those two teams. Exactly. Geno Smith is a Jet, and Malik Willis is starting quarterback for the Dolphins of a team of nobodies. Okay, that's not on a team anymore.
He lost both his receivers. Poor Malik.
Poor Malik.
He's like, he lost both receivers that he had. He's like, I was coming here to play with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
No. I have to find
So I have no speed left on this offense except for Achane. That's
exactly
it?
Who probably will be on a different team come the trade deadline.
Yeah, he's the biggest trade deadline acquisition going into the season that I've seen over the last few years. Like he's gonna be somewhere else. That's almost written in the stars.
Almost written in the stars. I mean, I want to have a conversation about Buffalo and New England. I have Jets last because there's no way you have Geno Smith as your quarterback after what I saw last year.
Do they win more games? Do they go 4-15 instead of 3-14?
No chance. That team needs to lose for a quarterback next year. That team needs to lose for Dante Moore or Archie Manning and hope for and pray that they get a top 5 pick is all I'm going to say.
And I'm just now realizing I didn't write down Miami's record from last season. So I guess it doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. Is like the Jets. I think the Jets and the Dolphins. I can't argue with myself that one of them is going to win more than 5 games.
No.
Can you?
If either of those teams win 5 games, good on you.
Hell yeah.
Good on you.
Good for you. Good for you. Like even the Jets have Breece Hall.
Breece Hall could be is another guy that I think he probably should have got moved at last year's deadline, and he definitely if
Kenny Sadiq they have now. They still have Garrett Wilson. Like they have some good talent.
Poor Garrett Wilson.
Poor
Garrett Wilson. They don't have an ownership or a GM. Their GM's still playing Madden to figure out his transactions.
That's what I'm saying. He's like the Jets this year are literally what the Raiders were last year. It's like you have Jency Bowers, you have Crosby, you have a decent team, but you literally don't have anything else. Like your team is horrid besides that. And the Dolphins actively got rid of everybody. Like I think it's Jets at the bottom because it's the Jets. They'll always do that. And then it's Dolphins 3. And I think
you're still bitter about that episode. You had to wear the Jets jersey, aren't you?
It's fine. It's cool, but that team still sucks. Okay,
they do suck, and I can't even I spent a lot of time around my brother, and one of the other freshman coaches is from New York, so he's also a Jets fan, and they're like, "Oh, cool, the Jets getting kicked off." How many points are they down by now, Dom? It's 5 minutes into the game. How many points are they trailing by now?
That team needs Arch Manning.
Don't you put that evil on that family.
I know. I'm that poor
I want Peyton to come on the show at some point, or maybe Marshall, because Marshall had a hell of a high school debut. Did you see that?
Yeah. He doesn't live in Colorado anymore. I know that. He's back in. He was going to go to Creek.
He went back to a very small private school in Louisiana, but that's what the family does.
Yeah, I mean, like the Jets are hoping for Dante Moore, they were linked to Dante Moore at this draft, but before he said no, I'm not coming out, and he may just fall into the lap again and say, "Well, suck it up. Let's try to go back to the third year."
Did you see that you can now go to an NFL training camp and then come back and get another year of NCAA?
Oh yeah, I'm aware. I mean, like this is a whole thing that we're dealing with PLL wise and lacrosse wise. Is like the new 5-5 rule is like. All these first-round draft picks I just had, or these draft picks that just played last year, have a chance to go back to college, which is fucking crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I look at, I believe this is correct, and you can quote me if I'm wrong. I believe the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the ACC have outlawed if you have signed a pro contract, you cannot come back. Yeah. So I think the last ones remaining are the SEC and one other conference that I can't think of on the top of my head.
Well, and the SEC makes sense because that they don't have anything else other than their college team. So if you don't make it somewhere else in the pros, might as well come back and play college.
You're going to get paid just as much, basically. So
and you used to get paid under the table. I got to throw in my SEC jabs there, but it makes me kind of feel. I don't want to say sick because it's not like this is making me physically ill, but it doesn't sit right because When I started college football, my whole goal was not just to play college football, but it was also to get a degree and graduate at some point so I can be a fully functioning human being.
Have a life,
like,
exactly.
I don't know when Tommy Boy started to become the example. Is, oh, yeah, you graduated just shy of a decade. Hey, a lot of people go to college for 7 years.
Or what's the movie with Adam Sandler?
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison,
Back to school.
Or these 18-year-olds are going to school with 26-year-olds, and they're like, "Are you like?" No, I'm a sophomore. Like, what?
No, I'm a redshirt. I had that. So I said this a couple times. My quarterback in college was a Mormon, and he went on his mission before he went to school. So he came in as a 25-year-old married true freshman, and then he had a baby his third year and took the year off, and then came back the year after that after his kid was a year old. I was like,
which is crazy. I think he was our age, like when he was doing that, which is insane.
No close to babies, no
close to college football either. Right now is all I'll say. Is no.
Ask my back how I feel if I could play college football right now. No, I could not.
No, absolutely not. I mean, like the rule is so weird and it makes it so interesting. But yeah, it definitely is a weird thing in college football. I want to get back to this AFC East combo because I mean, like, I think both the Bills and the Patriots got better. Like, I love the DJ Moore acquisition. I think that's going to help the Bills a lot. Like, I think DJ Moore is one of the most underrated receivers in football, and a guy that, and I'm not just saying that because he'll be in my fantasy football thing here in a little bit, but like, I do think that having that 1A receiver, like, I'm not saying he was Stephon Diggs of when Josh Allen was 4 years ago, but he is as good of a route technician and a guy with great hands that can consistently, you don't have to worry about Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir being your 1 and 2. Like,
he's also a guy that everybody wants, and I was somebody that also pointed it out. He was lazy his last few years in Chicago. That was mainly because he never had a quarterback until Caleb finally got good last year, and he was still pretty much like, I'm out of it. My heart's not in it. He's probably going to be pretty motivated playing with Josh Allen, who is absolutely he's obviously an upgrade at this point because of what he's been able to do. But it is still the question. Joe Brady's never done it as a head coach. Josh Allen's never done it as a quarterback at any level. Any level. I don't believe Josh Allen ever even won a high school football championship.
I don't know enough about Josh Allen high school stats to
he was playing 8-man football in middle of nowhere, California, so it doesn't really matter. But
that's fair. But and then you look at the opposite side. The Patriots, obviously a team that made the Super Bowl, and you can say it. People can say it. Like, I'll say it. They had the easiest path to a Super Bowl anyone has ever had in the AFC. Right? You had Broncos with Jared Stidham, who was your quarterback 6 years ago, like a guy that was supposed to replace Brady and never did. You have, and then I forgot the restaurant. I believe it was Jaguars, and I think
they had the Texans with CJ Stroud totally forgetting how to play football.
Yeah.
And I believe that they had the Chargers, but that was after the Chargers had already lost both their starting tackles to injury, and Omari Hampton was banged up, and Justin Herbert had like half an arm and 3 ribs that were cracked. So
they walked into the Super Bowl with an easy path. They got their asses kicked because of it. Like the Seahawks did not give them life that game. And I think when you look at this Patriots team, I think A.J. Brown will help this offense and help Drake May.
I damn sure hope he does.
I know you do, but he will help his team out a lot.
Don't bang the same massage therapist as your teammates in New England. Please, AJ. Please.
This offensive line is still a problem. Like, I still think that I look at this offensive line and I'm like, they're not going to be able to compete in the AFC if they cannot keep Drake May upright. Like, this is Joe Burrow 2.0. This is shiny new toy of a receiver with a really good young quarterback that came off of a Super Bowl loss, right? And that still has no offensive line. Like, that defense in New England is better. Christian Gonzalez is he's one of the best corners of football, right? They're going to continue.
They still haven't given him a contract, right?
I don't know.
Have they figured that out? I think that that was one of the things that was up in the air. They haven't signed him before this season, and this was the year that they should have signed him to his extension. Otherwise, next year it's going to be an even bigger price tag.
Bigger price tag, yeah. So, like, I hate the Patriots. I really, really do. I really, really cannot stand them.
But do you almost want them to win the division more because it's better to see them than Buffalo? Because Buffalo, as much as we beat Buffalo, that was Josh Allen with 5 turnovers. And by the end of the game, your quarterback broke his ankle.
Look, I'll say this. New England is good. New England is very, very good. And Buffalo, I think, is very, very good too. New England doesn't scare me as much as Buffalo can. Like you and I could sit here in 4 months, 5 months. Would we really be shocked if the Patriots took a step back from last year?
No, I think that
there's a chance
just as much as the Broncos did last year from a third place schedule the year before.
Absolutely. Like we could sit here and both say, "Oh, Patriots will finish second in this division," like very easily. Like we could be sitting, and Josh Allen could have another MVP season. I think there's a better chance Josh Allen has an MVP season than the Patriots making a Super Bowl again, making the AFC Championship again. They even go that farther. That's that farther. And that's even with adding A.J. Brown. Like, A.J. Brown has become a headache. Like, the man, it's
like
a
I
headache.
said,
The Patriots have had more offseason problems than a lot of teams in the league. And that's because of their coaching situation and the receiver saying, "Yeah, I hate my teammates, and I never want to go back to New England." And what do you think he's going to say about you in 2 years' time when he retires? Like,
that was, I don't know if you've seen. I listened to a show where one of the guys is a big Eagles fan, so they bring up all the dirt sheets that they can. Apparently, the reason why he had such an issue in Philly last year is because he had this girlfriend on the side that was the team massage therapist. And somebody else also started hooking up with that same massage therapist. And Jalen Hurts knew about it. But since Jalen Hurts was married and wasn't involved, he didn't want to say anything. So then when it came out, this whole thing was happening. A.J. Brown was even more pissed at Jalen Hurts because, bro code, you should have told me I had the same side piece as somebody else. I've never gone that deep into the bro code. I don't know if that's actually written down as a bylaw or if that's just a gentleman's agreement. But that was the situation that got him removed from Philadelphia and now has him sitting over here in Foxborough, and it'll be good for a year. Like, it's the same thing we say with Stephon Diggs, and they got Stephon Diggs last year. Like, for the first season, he's probably going to be on good behavior, and he's probably going to try and do everything that he can to win. As soon as he starts winning and he's not involved, man, that guy's a fucking nightmare. Like, there's no other way to say it. As soon as you could win the game 45-0, but if he got 3 targets, he's pissed.
I mean,
I hate guys like that, but you need them on your team.
And the good thing is that for him, like, he is the number one guy. Like you could say Hunter Henry at the tight end position is the number 2, but they don't have a number 2 receiver. Like they really don't have a guy that's stand out. You could say Keyshawn Boot. Or not
Booty.
Dobbs. I think Romeo Dobbs is there still with them. Like, that's the number 2 guy. He's not going to take away touches from A.J. Brown. And I think the running game still, Trayvon Harrison could take a big leap in year 2, but still him and Ramondre Stevenson sharing the load in the backfield. Like, it's Drake May and it's A.J. Brown. That's how A.J. likes it, and that will help him more. But I think I'm betting on the Patriots taking a step back this year, worse than they were last year. And I think that Super Bowl was an eye opener for a lot of different reasons. And I don't think they solved those mistakes, is all I'm going to say. I think A.J. Brown was putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole of an offensive line problem and defensive line problem that the Seahawks exposed.
Yeah. Shout out Morgan Wallen, because that's a great phrase that I hadn't heard up until I heard that song. It's good that we're speaking about A.J. Brown in Philly, because we're moving into the NFC East now.
So my final rankings, I have Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, Jets.
I'm not going to go different, because I, like you, can't stand the Patriots, and I will never pick them to finish number 1 in anything that I have control over. So I don't have a producer in my ear telling me that I should pick the Patriots number 1, but I agree with you that the bottom of this division is just as bad as the division that we're about to talk about, because the NFC East is no different. It's like mirror image.
You just automatically give 4 wins to the Bills and Patriots is all I'm going to say.
Yes, and the Eagles, and this year I think it's probably going to be the Cowboys, maybe, but. Again, I'm looking at the division standings last season. Washington finished 5-12, and New York finished 4-13. New York gets a new quarterback, so Harbaugh is now going to be overseeing the exciting Whites with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. And it's truly, to me, like, I don't know if Dallas did the things that they needed to compete with Philly, and is Philly going to take a step back? This is the 7th offensive coordinator Jalen Hurts has had in the last 7 years, going all the way back to college. It's been good. It's been bad. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. But collectively, I think that it's still Philly is the best team, and I think that Dallas, they just give Jerry too much control. I get that he's the owner. I get that he's the reason you have control of the team. But at some point, when this man reaches 90, you have to start convincing him that he's making the decisions and do the exact opposite of what he says, because this ain't working.
I'm look. This may be one of my hottest takes of the season. I think the Giants compete in this division for a championship, for a division title.
Without Dexter Lawrence on their defense.
And the reason why I'll say that, and I say compete, I'm not going to say win. I'm not going that far. I say they compete because I think Harbaugh can instill something really, really well into that team. I think you bring in a stable coach, it does a lot for a young team. Like we've seen with Sean Payton, like we've done with Vrabel in New England, right? You bring a stable, good, quality coach that is a player's coach that knows how to win. That helps a team a lot. And I'm not necessarily saying that just because they obviously lost Dexy, right? But like I think this offense is going to be much improved. I'm not sipping the Jackson Dart Kool-Aid, but you know who I am? Isaiah Likely, Cam Scatterboo, and Malik Neighbors. Some of the best weapons in this division.
Who of those three guys didn't finish the season last year?
Exactly. And them having them healthy back. Like, I'm not saying they're going to win. I still think
I get you.
I'm picking a team that could shock some people. And that I think that will be.
You think that New York is going to finish better than Dallas?
I think they finish third. And I think that third spot gets them a wild card right around the wild card area. That's how good this division is.
3 teams from the
I say East 2 with the possibility of 3.
Okay.
That's what I see. And then the other thing you got to remember with the Commanders, obviously the Commanders were asked last year, but that was a lot because Jane Daniels was injured and they didn't have a lot going on.
Do you think that he's mad that they only won 5 games last season?
I know, right? They got to copyright something there. But I think the Commanders finished last, and I think the Giants are better than that. And I think Cowboys are too. And I think the reason why I say they're competing is because I think, gosh, I don't like at some point Jerry's world can only account for so much. Like I don't think that the Cowboys, Dak Prescott is not getting any younger. Every year we're sitting here and be like, Prescott's a great quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And then he just gets injured halfway through the year, and they start freaking somebody that we've never heard of.
Dallas's version of Derek Carr, because
exactly they'll never quit. He'll never quit.
He's an MVP, but he's gonna get messed up at some point. And there's also going to be games where he comes out like Dak is not the most consistent guy. Like he's really fun to play with in Madden, but when I have to actually root for the team that comes out on Sundays, sometimes like the Broncos, last year, we were so worried because the Broncos offense looked terrible and the Cowboys offense looked so good. Like, can the Broncos be able to keep up with them? And they met a true top tiered NFL defense and absolutely melted down and crapped the bed. So I think that is probably a little bit more likely. Here's my thing. John Harbaugh was in one of the most consistent NFL organizations for the last 15 years in Baltimore. They really don't make much changes. He is now in New York. He is now going to be in an even harder media market. He is now going to have even more scrutiny on him. And people are, especially people from Baltimore, they're going to be looking at him and looking at the Ravens, and whoever finishes in a better situation, they're trying to figure out if it was the coach or the quarterback, because there's been something wrong with Baltimore over the last few seasons, and that's always been the conversation. Is it Lamar not being able to play actual quarterback? Is it John Harbaugh not actually knowing what he's doing because he's a former special teams coach and he's never actually been a coordinator in the league? It's hard for me to sit here and say that he is going to be – I think that he's a good coach. Do I think that he's one of the great coaches? I don't know. I think that he's been consistent. Consistently good is not bad, but he's not great. There's been like 2 or 3 times where he's been great.
Yeah, and with the Giants situation like that's why I think having obviously Scottaboo and Neighbors being injured does not help them walking into the season. But
no more backflips, please. No more
backflips. I think both those guys can bring some stability to this offense, and I really love the addition of Likely. I think that's one of the most underrated moves of the offseason, because I think Likely is going to make Jackson Dart's life so much easier. It's a guy that's going to be consistently just catching footballs. Like there was points of the Ravens last couple of years where it's like, yeah, Andrews is the second tight end because of how talented Likely is, like legit. And I look at this Cowboys team, like the only person that really like pops off the page is Quinnen Williams. Like Quinnen Williams there on the defensive side.
I totally forgot. I
like,
totally forgot he got traded there last year.
That's the guy that really pops the page. They don't have a running back anymore. Daddle's gone, right? You're relying on Javonte Williams, who is older. He's getting older. He's a 26-year-old. That's the old for a running back nowadays.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I know. Can Dak consistently get the ball to CD and to George Pickens? That's a question. I think Cowboys going to be good, but that's why I'm like in on the Giants being a competitive team. Like I said, I'm not picking them to be better than the Eagles. I think the Eagles are still the best team in this division, but I think they're going to be a competitive team and knocking on the door for a wild card spot, and could be that second team in the division where if the Eagles falter, like some bad games here and there, they could be a conversation for the number one seed in that division.
See, I had a totally different outlook on this division than you did. I didn't see two playoff teams in this division. I saw the one, whoever wins the division, and I could have possibly, like, to me, right, looking at this upcoming season, the NFC East and the NFC South from last season look pretty similar. Like, there's a lot of question marks on these teams that could possibly compete. There's probably one team that's better than all of them, and are they going to be able to stay as consistent as they need to throughout a 17-week season? Because to me, Philly seems a lot like Tampa Bay from last year. Most established quarterback, most established coaching staff, but can they stay healthy and consistent enough to win the games that they should win and not lose the games that they're supposed to win? Dallas, always a wild card. New York, could they have a bounce back season? Yeah, they've been in the playoffs. They were in the playoffs with Danny Dimes. Like, could be. And Jaden Daniels could be in the playoffs, but just to me, it seems like it's going to be whoever wins this division, and then everybody else is going to have the worst season of their life. And I apologize to all of you fans in advance, but that's just what it seems to me like. In the both, like, the AFC East has two teams, but the NFC East, to me, it's one team, whoever wins the division, and then everybody else is just
so the only argument I will have against that, and I think I may change your mind with this, is that you look at the standings, and we'll go through the South next week. But like, you look at the NFC from top to bottom, right? If you're saying no other team in this division will make the playoffs, do you think a second team from the NFC South comes from? Or is it three teams?
I was thinking of three teams from the north.
From the north?
Like, yeah, no, because Detroit, Minnesota, and Chicago are all pretty frisky to me.
That makes more sense.
That was what I was thinking more so.
Three teams in the north.
I could be wrong about that too. I think that Chicago is due. It could be due for a regression. Minnesota has Kyler Murray, and I'm hoping that works out for my third quarterback spot. But damn it, I'm not really confident in that pick. And I don't know. It's probably because I like the AFC North so much, so I kind of see a lot of crossover. But to me, I look at the NFC North as a much better division than the NFC East.
Oh, I agree. Like, I wholeheartedly agree. But my question is like, I think there's three teams better than everyone else outside the Buccaneers and the NFC South. Like, I would say the Commanders are better, and they're a fourth team in this division. Fourth for me. I don't know about you, but fourth for me. And I think they're better than everyone else outside the Buccaneers in the South. And like, then you're in a conversation with, okay, then do we have three teams out of the NFC West also, which I think two for sure. I think Seattle and the Rams, but then you're betting on the 49ers staying healthy, which they never can.
They're not healthy right now.
Yeah, they're not healthy right now. And the season just
like Evan's hamstring is still getting, it's got all the radiation poisoning that is still trying to get used to.
That's why I say, like, there's a possibility for a Giants or a Cowboys to make some noise in the playoffs, because there'll be openings available in that wild card spot, mainly because of how weak some of the other bottom half of the divisions are when it comes to the NFC.
I'm not going to make you pick this week, but next week after we do our last division previews, I also want to have this conversation. Is the NFC or AFC better? Because in all the other leagues, we say that the West is so much better than the East. And I want to have that conversation of whether or not there is a conference that is truly better than the other one. So my NFC East rankings, I think that the Philadelphia Eagles will be able to get it done.
Did that back-to-back years thing end last year?
It did. It did end last year.
So that was the first year that team won back-to-back NFC East. So that
which used to be a very big calling card for how we picked the division rankings on this show.
Exactly.
But I do think that Philly will be able to take it. I think that Philly could be even a game worse. They won 11 games last year. They might be able to win with 10 this upcoming year. I think that it's going to be. You've talked me into New York, so I'll go New York, Cowboys, and I do think that the Commanders are last, but just because I want to see Jaden Daniels whine. Like I want to
Well,
see his mom
I know
have so many meltdowns on social media. I just want to see that.
They'll make sure they add a 15-minute division so they can finish fifth, just for him. I said it already. I'm mainly on the Giants, but I still give a slight edge to the Cowboys. So I go Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Commanders, with the Giants and Cowboys. Cowboys in playoff position, Giants knocking on the door.
Yeah, it's a very interesting time to make these predictions, and obviously these sometimes go very good, sometimes they don't go very well at all. So we'll see how things play out. We are going to get into our second break of the show. When we come back, we will reveal our fantasy rosters and give you our player and bench warmer of the week, and also a PLL playoff preview that's coming up. All that is here on the Far End of the Bench, episode 287. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Are you looking to upgrade your podcasting equipment without downgrading your wallet? Then I've got the perfect website for you. Head over to 5core.com and check out everything they have to offer for creators, podcasters, musicians, streamers, and anyone looking to level up their sound. 5core.com, based out of Bellefontaine, Ohio, has a 25-man roster of audio gear, and let me tell you, the farm system is loaded too. We're talking amplifiers, audio mixers, microphones, headphones, music stands, car audio, and all the cables and connectors you need to build your setup the right way. And this is not some random brand either. 5Core has more than 35 years experience, trusted products, great prices, and quality merchandise currently supplied to more than 65 countries worldwide. So whether you're starting your first podcast, upgrading your home studio, setting up for live events, or just tired of sounding like you're recording from the bottom of a Gatorade cooler, 5core.com is worth your time. They even have podcast bundles that can include a mixer, microphone, headphones, and a microphone stand, depending on how much money you want to invest. I've seen bundles starting as low as $29.99, and with over 900 different products, 5Core gives you options without wigging your wallet and tapping it out in the first round. With an unwavering commitment to quality, innovation, and excellence, 5core.com is ready to help you sound better, record cleaner, and build the setup you've been putting off. So from OHIO, support them, support us here at All Gloves Off Sports Media, head to 5core.com and save 10%. Upgrade your sound. You won't be sorry. And now back to your favorite sports podcast.
All right. If there has ever been a segment that doesn't convince you to subscribe to YouTube so you can actually see what we're putting up on the screen, this is going to be the segment. I am putting them up right now. I also made sure that we had the names because I spent a lot of time on my name, and I know you spent a lot of time on your name for your fantasy team each season as well. We have my team, Unnecessary Syntax, and Niko's team. You go ahead and say your name. What are you going with?
For those that are our listeners, we do have a 2 QB league where you start 2 QBs every single week, so that helps.
That is going to do a good job of solidifying my strategy.
Yeah, so it shows you why it's a little bit different in the league. So my team name is May the Force Go With You. May with an E at the end, and obviously B instead of B, it's Bo. I thought when I was looking up fantasy team names, I obviously love Star Wars, and that was the first thing popped up. I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm doing that. Like, that worked out perfectly.
Yeah, no, I like it, and I was thinking about making it about one of the guys on the team, but I made my team name before because I was doing as much research as possible. Carly's playing some fantasy football this year, too, in a different league, so we've been going through Walmart and like, you want to buy one of these fantasy football magazines? It's been like 15 years since I bought one. Do you want to buy one? She's like, no, I won't understand anything that's happening. And I was like, yeah, I know, but it might help you. Who knows?
It might help me also.
I might need it. No, so since it's a 2-quarterback league, I took the bold strategy of my first 2 picks were quarterbacks because you know what? Last season, I had to deal with J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy was my second starting quarterback in week 1. And while he did win his game in week 1, he had like 4 turnovers in the first half and ended up only actually getting me 15 points. So this year, my logic was if I can get at least 50 points from my quarterback, somebody else can have an off week, but at least I know that I'm solid at these 2 spots that 20 players start at each week in our league. So I went Josh Allen with my first pick, which was number 6 in our first round. And I went Jalen Hurts with my second round pick, which I'm sure everybody was like dancing, doing a little jig because I let all the receivers go. And you can look at some of my position groups and say that they're a little bit thinner. We always say quarterback is very important, and you made quarterback pretty important in this fantasy league. So that's where I'm going to start things. I think that my strategy was okay.
I will say this is like people have done that strategy in years past, and they almost always make the playoffs. So that is a very.
If
very
I make
good
the
sign.
playoffs this year from finishing the last 2 years,
You
I will be
you'll
totally fine with
ecstatic.
that. I don't even give a
Exactly.
shit if I get whooped by 100 in the playoff matchup. I will give a shit.
You'll just be happy you're competing. Exactly. So like I will say that strategy has worked, and you have QB1 and QB2, which helps a lot. Like I think that's going to help you a lot in terms of in terms of being
I was
not
pretty
bottom
nervous.
dwelling.
I was nervous after I picked Allen with my first pick. I was nervous that not that everybody was thinking the same thing, but I just had an idea. And I don't know why, but I always draft somewhere around Pat. And Pat just must have like some connection to me, and he knows, like, please don't take him, please don't take him, please don't take him. 3, 2, damn it.
Damn it.
You went a minute and a half, and that was the guy that you were looking for. Just pick him early so I have enough time to make my next pick. Come on now.
To think about it. Yeah, I mean, like I had the lucky or being fortunate enough to
Ladies and gentlemen, he's the commissioner of the league, and he had the number 1 overall pick.
I know we can call it rigged, but
I had to say that for the rest of the group. Niko, I don't give a shit, but I just had to say
there's
that
always one person has to say it, and at least I'm glad you were the one that said it. Let me put it this way. I don't like being first because you put a lot of eggs in one basket, and if something falters, you're fucked. Let me put it that way. Jahmyr Gibbs goes down, I'm in trouble. Okay? Like I am struggling. Like, and I felt like going Gibbs this year. Like I was going to decide between one of the running backs. I was Bijan or Gibbs, and I just felt as though like in Atlanta, I just don't trust Bijan and Gibbs. I've had him on many teams in the years past, and not having Montgomery being gone. Right,
yeah.
like he is going to like. I don't think they trust Pacheco.
I'm envious of you because I've had Gibbs when he was a tandem, and he still scored a lot of points. Gibbs is the premier running back. That's going to be dangerous.
That's what I'm saying. Is like that's why I felt like I just had to do it because if he stays healthy and he even gets more like touches in the red zone, like that's even more points. So like I felt like that was a no-brainer for me to go with Gibbs there in that department. I went with the Bulls. I've done this in years past and it's helped me. It's also hurt me. I've done the Bull strategy of waiting on receivers because I felt like the depth was there, and I should have known better because my initial thoughts were like, okay, Jalen Waddle will be there for my 1-2. Like in my because I'll be first pick, second, third, that fourth, fifth pick. I was okay. I'll have a chance at Waddle being my number 1 guy and having a chance. And then I should have known better that I'm in a fantasy football league with
everybody else is Broncos fans.
With majority Broncos fans that all believe the same exact thing as I do. So it really doesn't help you much in terms of that. But I mean, like getting like I love the fact that I got Trey McBride. I thought that helped. I thought that I'm really excited.
You got Trey and I got Brock, so our tight ends are set.
I love having a very good tight end because McBride consistently, like Brissett's number 1 option. He's going to be elite for him.
Jacoby Brissett loves his tight ends.
Exactly. Then I went with the bold move of picking Drake May. That's where I felt like, you know what, there wasn't a running back I fell in love with. There was
Drake May is a very good fantasy quarterback.
Exactly. So like, and a guy that was number 2 and obviously MVP conversation last year, a guy that almost won the MVP. Like I thought even a second year with AJ Brown will help him even more. So I threw him in there as my third pick. And then I turned it around with the DJ Moore and the Devontae Smith drafts picks. Actually, I might have even gone Devontae Smith, ETN, and they got DJ Moore next after that. But my running back, my receivers is where I struggle with a lot. But the fact that the 2 flex positions is nice because like I can throw in a Likely, I could throw in a Rashad White because he's going to be the lead back in Washington. I could throw in a Pierce when he's healthy. Like there's an opportunity for those different options. I do love my kicker too. And like Butt Kisser over there, like he hit a 70-yarder or like a 65-yarder.
Your girlfriend's not going to be happy about that one.
I know it's not great. I know, but the Eagles defense obviously like having that weird last pick is so weird. But Eagles defense is great too, so I don't hate those because those I don't feel like help you, but they will hurt you. So if I don't need to worry about them, that's all that matters.
Here's my thing: by the time round 15, like when I was getting ready for my 15th round pick, I was considering, like I was going based on what was left with just the regular positions. And then I was also looking at Brendan Aubrey because I've had Brendan Aubrey on fantasy teams before and he's won me games when everybody else played like crap because he kicks 70-yard field goals and the Cowboys. They're one of the few teams that are okay with getting into the red zone and then just kicking it because why not? Let's let our old USFL MVP or best kicker in the entire league go out and nail another one. So I was considering him. My big things, I wanted to get my 2 quarterbacks early. I knew that there was going to be either receiver or running back that I was pretty thin at. And I ended up going with running back. But I think that I put this up on my board in my classroom, and I've been telling people, because all my students that I know are football fans that have fantasy teams, I'm like, I picked Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts for my first 2 picks. And everybody walks past me and goes, that's stupid. It's like, I don't play in a super flex league, you bitch. I don't say
2 quarterback league. It's different.
I have to start 2 quarterbacks. And last season, I was starting Cooper Rush. Damn near.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that's why I like playing in this league that way, because it's so different than everybody else's. Like everyone nowadays plays. I play in 6 leagues. Like everyone nowadays plays at least 5 leagues. I think it's so fun having something a little bit different, and the fact that we have to argue and our draft strategy is so different.
Even Carly, who is getting ready for her first ever fantasy draft, she's like, I've heard that you shouldn't take quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds. Like normally no.
Normally no. Normally not. No,
you don't.
No.
You don't. You have one quarterback. If you get Lamar Jackson at some point, cool. But if I had Lamar Jackson and Cooper Rush, I'd still be screwed.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're not worrying about the quarterback position all season long. Like that's huge for you. And I
think that I have somebody that I could use. Like I'm going to use them for my buys, but then I can have somebody that, hey, you're close to a playoff spot. You have this guy. I have just this little 5'4" midget
just
sitting on my bench.
Get out of the toilet bowl and just get in the playoffs.
I have this little 5'4" guy that can't go on any of the roller coasters at Mall of America, even though he lives in Minneapolis.
See, I feel like I prioritize quarterbacks pretty well too, getting Drake May and Bo Nix. Those are 2 of the top, I think, 6 guys.
Bo was on my considerations list, depending on how the second round went. I was looking if one of the better receivers were there in the second round, like a Jamar Chase or a CD Lamb or one of those guys, or Jackson Smith and Jigba, but I think he was definitely already gone. That would have changed my second overall pick, but all of those guys were gone. You had Gibbs. Bijan was gone. I was good with going Jalen Hurts because, hey, I know he's at least going to get some touchdowns on the quarterback sneak.
You got the 2 best passing and throwing. I mean, not passers, but best running quarterbacks in the NFL outside Lamar. And Lamar is even slowed down. So you get a lot of points of that way. That's going to help you win games.
I was not going to put my eggs in the Joe Burrow basket again. As much of a Bengals fan as I am, I am not. Because I did that with Jake Browning last year. You remember I picked up Jake Browning on waivers when Burrow went down because I was like, oh, well, the game that Burrow got injured and he played afterwards, he went off. And then I still have to say the Minnesota Vikings defense owns me and all of my opinions and everything that I say because they had more return yards on a fumble and a pick six than the Bengals had on offense the entire game that week. So I still have to say that I'm not putting I don't want to draft people on my fantasy team of teams that I like.
That's what I'm saying. It's I have gone past that. There's one guy I pick every single year. There's one guy that I'm like, okay, I'll get one. But it's usually not a top name. I did Bo because I just believe in Bo. I'm believing still, okay. But I didn't pick another Bronco. The only other person I was considering was Waddle, but obviously that didn't happen. That was even before I even may have picked Bo. That I decided not to go with Bo when I didn't get Waddle. So you don't go heavy on your team for many reasons. Is one because you have a second team to root for when your team is losing.
It would make you so much more frustrated if the team is losing anyways, and then also none of your guys are scoring any points in fantasy.
And I will say one draft strategy that I did this year that I've never really done in the past, and I felt like I had just negated it entirely. But when you have the first overall pick, I think you have to do this. And especially if you have the second overall pick, because I got insurance. It's if Gibbs goes down, Pacheco, I have Pacheco. I don't have to worry about it. Obviously it's not as good as Gibbs, but the fact that
it's another starter.
Exactly. The fact that I have a backup, his backup in case something does happen, I automatically have a starter right away, and I don't have to scratch and claw. So that and especially with that deepest league we have, it was nice that I was able to ensure that.
So the pick that I think most of the kids in my classroom and most of the people will probably look at and go, why? It's Ja'Jarian Price at running back. And that was what we were talking about earlier with Genty's season last year. But also with what I've seen now, I might be regretting my decision because Seattle has been one of those teams really bitten by the injury bug. And I don't want it to be Yeah, I don't
I
want
will
it to
say,
happen.
Jalen Price was a guy that I had circled too as my third guy.
Just because of what he's shown on Hard Knocks, and like I've seen,
Even
we
Seattle.
talked about it the last few weeks. Like the team that literally just won the Super Bowl is talking about Jadarian Price. Like I can't touch him, I can't tackle him, I can't even get close to him. Like it's insane. So the upside there is there, and David Montgomery is my backup technically, but I think that David Montgomery now being away from Jahmyr Gibbs, he's going to get a ton of carries and a ton of yards. I will say it really pains me that I had to pick the Steelers defense.
I had it last year. You weren't handicapped to that, but it does. Like
there was nobody else. I wanted the. I can't even remember who the first pick was, but then the Broncos were there in one of the rounds that I was considering defense. That was it. I was like the Texans. I could get the Texans in the 14th round before anybody else has gotten a defense.
Jumped it.
It was just there, and then Broncos went almost right after.
See, I used to do that all the time. I was like, okay, I'm going to go get my kicker in the defense right away. I'm going to get the number one. But now I've come to the realization, like, it's more important to me to have those quality backups. And like I like in years past, I have rotated guys around. I've rotated kickers around. I've rotated defenses around, and I've been a playoff team still. So like I used to do the exact same thing, but now I don't really think that's that big of a deal for you that you'll be missing out on. Yeah, it sucks that you have to hope the Steelers defense makes plays, but like I think it's not the worst thing.
And that's the other thing too. Like defense, I honestly think kicker might be more important than defense, because defense, you do is you start with a certain number of points, and if you do really well, you might get 17. But if you even suck a little bit, you're only getting 7.
I wonder this, and I was like, this is a conversation that this is the second year of this kickoff, right? Or is it the third year? I can't remember. Maybe it's the second.
This would be my third season that I've been in the league.
No, of the new kickoff.
This is the fourth season, I think. Third or fourth.
Well, either way, as we progress more into this new kick return style and everything, like obviously it's defense and special teams. So like you get like the one thing that people used to do all the time is like you would get the Bears defense and special teams first, because you get Devin Hester and then you get Brian Urlacher, and it's the perfect combo. Like we have, like, I wonder if more and more nowadays, like we'll get to see more creative special teams units, and that will affect this more, because I think it could. And I think because if you get because like even the preseason game, it was a preseason game for the Broncos and Packers. There were 60-yard runs going off like every single run, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like this is getting more and more likely that kick returners are like huge parts of the game again. And I think that that could massively affect obviously fantasy football.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, because I almost think that they should start them with a minimum lower, and then also give them a little bit higher of an upside and possibly a lower low side, because then people will carry a little bit more. Right now, I'm just looking for a team that can possibly keep me as close to 10 as possible. And I think the Steelers are a defense and a special teams that can keep me maybe as close to 10 as possible. So anything else that you want to say about your roster? Any other picks that you were really excited or disappointed by? Anything like that?
I'm excited for ETN. I think ETN and New Orleans being the lead back. No, ETN. Like
I know, but ETN. Remember he's
yeah.
But they say that you're supposed to pronounce their name Etienne.
Exactly. Yeah, Trevor Etienne Jr. out of New Orleans, former Jags running back. I'm excited.
Oh, you picked I was picturing the other guy in my head. You picked the Saint?
I picked the Saint, Trevor Etienne, the guy that was Have
you seen their offensive line?
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. But the other thing I did was why I picked him was because a team sucks so bad. They're just going to have to give him the ball. Like there's nothing else they're going to have to do. They just hand it off behind him. And I think he can make enough plays to get around it. Maybe they scheme it up better to give him like some outside leverage where he gets some outside releases and he's got wheels. And I just feel like on a bad team, like Kamara's old and he's not going to be able to do much. So ETN's the lead back and the lead guy on that roster. And when you're the lead, like running back and the lead offensive weapon, like I think that's worth a draft pick in my opinion. Like I think it's worth a hit on to see if it hits. And I think ETN in the past has with the Jaguars, and now he's with the Saints where he's the guy. I think helps even more.
Yeah, and I was gonna go. I'm happy that I got my quarterbacks, because if I didn't get my quarterbacks when I did, Tyler Shuck would have been one of the guys that I had to put faith in, because he was there. He was there the entire time, and I kept looking. And I was like, maybe for my bench, and then Kyler was still
I will say like I took the quarterback approach too. Obviously, Drake May and Bo Nix being top level end guys, but I played it risky. I didn't draft another quarterback until my third to last pick before the defense kicker, and I got Mendoza. So like I'm a little worried in case one of those goes down because then I'm stuck with Mendoza as my starter. But it could
Who's
be
behind
worse.
Kirk Cousins?
Exactly, but by the time
at this moment, yes.
Exactly. But by the time the bye weeks for Bo Nix and Drake May come around, he should be the starter. As I said, should be the starter.
And that was another thing that I realized too. I got a good Kyler has the earliest bye of any of my quarterbacks, so I'm always going to have one of my top two guys that I have, and I think that Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen are one right after the other. I'm not sure. I'm going to have Kyler and Josh Allen and Kyler and Jalen Hurts starting for certain weeks of the season, but here's my thing, and I should probably not say this on a public format, and I don't know of how many of the guys in the fantasy league watch. Kyler is my trade bait. That's because I know that there's going to be a quarterback. There's going to be somebody that needs a quarterback, and they're like, well, my guy's got demoted to the backup, or my guy's injured for the rest of the season. Kyler with Kevin O'Connell might be something.
I know. Would they rather that, or would they rather Aaron Rodgers, who's still sitting in free agency?
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean. Like that's the problem. That's the problem.
Keep him in his darkness retreat, please. Keep him over there. Just like I don't. Yeah. No.
Say that way.
Same thing that I used to do with Ben Roethlisberger. No. That's okay. Moving on from fantasy football into the PLL playoffs. We have the quarterfinals starting this Saturday, August 29th. The Outlaws and Redwoods in a rematch from 13 days ago. You also have the Whip Snakes and the Cannons.
And of last year's postseason as well.
It was also the semifinal round?
Yes.
Or was it the first? Semi. So it was the second round last year. It's the first round this year. They kick off, or what do you say? Face off?
Face off.
Yeah, they face off at 6 p.m. And the Whip Snakes and the Cannons face off at 8:30. The byes this week, Utah and Philly both got the number one seeds in the East and West. Semifinals will take place in Salt Lake City. The championship will be in New Jersey on September 20th. So moving into the game that is of utmost importance, the Denver Outlaws and California Redwoods. This is such a weird topic to talk about on this show now because obviously you're a Redwoods guy. I like you, and we're really good friends, and I want the Redwoods to do great. But I am a Denver guy, and in a sport that I have no affiliation to, like I as somebody who never played lacrosse, never went to a lacrosse game other than the ones that my brother was begrudgingly put into the goal for.
Exactly. Yep.
Like I've always liked the Denver Outlaws brand, and I've always known about the Denver Outlaws. So it's hard for me. It's really hard. I am telling you right now, 110%. I am with you, and I am with the California Redwoods, but I am very strategically not wearing any of my PLL stuff these last couple of weeks because I'm like, I don't know. Because either way, I'll be okay. But I know that you're obviously in the camp of the Redwoods, you know, needing to move on and get back to where they were last year and possibly have a chance to move forward. Where are you sitting right now? Because we talked a little bit about it last week, but now that the game is this upcoming week, Redwoods versus Outlaws, how are you feeling going into this matchup?
Obviously, I'm nervous, and it's nerve-wracking anytime you go into a do-or-die season. And like I said, this would be the last time I could be traveling with the team for this season, and obviously it's very, very different and very weird because my Mammoth season ended, and 3 days later I traveled to PLL training camp. Like literally, like I season ended and I had to turn the script, and I don't get to do that right now. We lose and I get 2 months off, which I cannot wait for. But I really wanted to delay that for sure. It's a very weird feeling and weird thing because obviously like you could the other side, team we played not too long ago, and a team that knocked us out of the playoffs last year with a chance to win it all. And I feel like we've hit our stride, and we've gotten better every single weekend. I feel like we've gotten our roster down. We had a couple tough roster decisions this week, and I think that's a good thing to have when you have guys playing well and you only have 19 guys to play. But I will say, like, I think that we're hitting our stride at the right time, and I think our offense is clicking. We had a couple guys, Sam English, Finn Thompson, playing Jamaica this past weekend and play at the World, not juniors, but like the World Cup of something. I can't remember.
World Senior Cup or something.
World Senior Cup, something like that in Canada, where Canada beat the U.S. and obviously Finn and Sammy are both Canadian, so they played well during that tournament, which is awesome to see. Yeah, I'm excited. I will say, like obviously growing up, growing up being a Outlaws.
You were literally probably in the Outlaws youth program because that was one of the only youth lacrosse programs growing up. I'm very happy with what we've been able to do with this show because we talked about the PLL since they've come into existence, and there's probably going to be more youth programs that pop up. And you're in the Cherry Creek lacrosse program, and now I know that lacrosse is big in that area, but it's just there's something that has held it back from getting to a certain level. But this, the Denver, that's the thing. As much as I know you want your team to win, speaking as a fan of Denver sports and speaking as somebody that sees all of these youth guys go, if Denver makes it to the semifinals back-to-back years and possibly the finals back-to-back years, that is just as good for lacrosse in this community as it would be for anything else to happen. So it's like I said, it's a double-edged sword because I want the Redwoods to win and I want you to have success. But it is also that would be good for where I'm at right now. And maybe lacrosse becomes a little bit bigger because we can talk about the PLL championship or the PLL championship game or the semifinals.
We'll talk about the NLL championship. I'd rather do that. Yeah, we don't need to do the PLL championship, but we're about to call
I know. As the regional spokesperson.
Let me say this. It's not my Outlaws. This is an entirely different team than the team I grew up with. I grew up with the Bocklets, Matt and Chris, who both obviously Chris coaches us, and Matt I coach under at Creek, as the head coach, lacrosse coach at Creek, and I grew up on all those great teams and all those teams. This is an entirely different team, entirely different staff, entirely different world. That's how I've told myself is this is not the same team. And that's where that's where it's different. It'd be if I worked in the NBA and I was facing the Nuggets. I have that love for that team because of
you can't hide all those signed jerseys that are in your apartment right now.
Exactly in the back there. I don't have no Outlaws shit for a reason, and I never will. So again, I used to have some, but I didn't have much, and it's never coming back again unless they hire me for a job down the road. But that's to be determined. Okay, but yes, I it's not my Outlaws, and I don't like that team as much as I don't like anybody in the league, is all I'll say.
I feel Denver and Utah probably got to be the two most
Utah
teams.
Probably, yeah, Utah is probably the other team I like the least too, because obviously they've been very successful and won 2 championships while I've been working with the team. And so yeah, but I will say the Outlaws are in hot trouble because I will say this: the Outlaws are in must-win mode. Because they have their free agency list is long. Those 4 Tewaaraton winners could turn into 2 next year if Jared Bernhardt and Pat Kavanaugh leave, which both of them are unrestricted free agents. They have JT Giles Harris, one of the best defenders in the league, free agent this offseason. Mike Manley, one of the second best defender, free agent this offseason. They have a load. Of guys in their roster that if they lose this weekend to us, which they probably will, hopefully knock on wood, that team is blowing up, and everyone else is going to reap the benefits of it. So I'm excited to get on the road, get to the beautiful state of Minnesota, and hopefully pull out a win.
The winner of that game will play Utah in the semifinal.
In Utah,
that would be really crazy.
I'll say this is we played Utah in Utah first game of the year. That was a lot of fun, a lot of booing, a lot of vulgar things said at me, and
they're Mormon. What are you talking about? They don't speak filth.
I know, but they say some bad things. And you're like, what? No,
you didn't even cuss in that, and I feel worse than if you would have called me a motherfucker.
Exactly. I feel way worse for it, and I feel like it would be a wonderful chance to right that ship if we can knock out 2 teams that have been a thorn in our side on the way to a championship game, and who knows what happens then.
Moving to the eastern side, the matchup this weekend, Maryland versus Boston. Explain to us what this matchup means, because if you're somebody like me that has been in and out of PLL, haven't watched every game of the season, Boston is a brand like we talked about with Denver. People will know, but Maryland is I would say it's the lacrosse state.
It's the state of lacrosse, as they call it.
Exactly. I was like, all I know of is players that play lacrosse that come from Maryland.
Maryland is known for one thing: crab cakes and lacrosse. That's what. That's what
it's
they're
not
saying.
football.
It's
it ain't football.
It's not football. It's crab cakes and lacrosse. I mean, look, Boston's one of the hottest teams in the PLL. Obviously, winning two at home in Boston at their homecoming weekend was huge. After going 0-2 last year, it's kind of crazy. And then you look at the meat of their schedule; they've been getting hot at the right time. They have a Rookie of the Year candidate in the faceoff guy McMeekin, Princeton, who's been really, really good for them. They've had some question marks in the goaltending situation. Colin Kurse being their starter, but Higginbottom being the starter for the last couple games, and he's been really good. Whipsnakes, they are a mixture of young and old. Obviously, TJ Malone and Joey Spalina, the headliners of the young guns and guys that have been really come onto the scene TJ Malone last couple of years, Joey this year. And then you look at, obviously, Rob Pennell, the all-time leader in points and pro lacrosse history. On that other side, too, they have veterans. They have young guys, and when it comes to Maryland, they're a team that one of only 2 teams out of the 8 that have won multiple championships. And obviously it's been a while. It's 6 years now since they've won a championship, but it does come to show, and you have the same coach that was around for that. So Maryland will be a tough out, that's for sure. And Boston is red hot, so that'll be a really good game. It'll be 2 really intriguing, close games.
And the winner of the Eastern side gets to play Philadelphia,
who is the hottest team in the league. It has 2 of the MVP candidates, and Michael Sowers and CJ Kurse, who one of those.
Sowers is the guy that I've heard since the league started, too.
Exactly.
By the way. I've said in the games that I've seen live, I've never seen somebody. He does the Gabriel Landeskog job where he somehow finds his way to the front of the crease. Then all of a sudden the ball's in the back of the net. Like I didn't even see him get the ball in his
He's
stick.
so shifty and really good from the X and brings it up top really well, dodge as well. One of the best players in the league. CJ Kurse is a guy that was in college winning a national championship at Cornell 2 years ago. And he has become like one of the all-time leaders in points too, in terms of 2 years in the league. So for a single season, he broke the record this year for single season points. And past Marcus Holman. So yeah, it'll be a really good, whoever Denver and Philly play, that would be a tough task for those teams, because those are 2 hottest teams, and Philly or Utah may be getting their ace up the sleeve and Tom Schreiber back, who hasn't played all season, who's been injured. It could be coming back for playoffs. So it could be very interesting.
No, I think that this is one of the coolest setups that we have for PLL playoffs.
When we don't have baseball next summer, we'll have lacrosse, is all I'm going to say.
That is true. And maybe this is the bridge to expansion, because this season, like the Redwoods had to win a lot of games down the stretch to make the playoffs. The Water Dogs, you just said, are probably the hottest team in the league. The Whipsnakes have been on a winning streak too. So there's so much parity, and all it's going to do is drive the intrigue of the sport. So I'm not going to make you make any predictions, because you're an employee of the league.
I don't.
I'm not gonna be that way.
And I also don't need to put bulletin board material for anybody.
No, obviously not. No, I'm not going to do that. The Redwoods are going to win, and I'm just kidding. Let's move into our last segment of the week, player and benchwarmer of the week. I'm going to go first because I like the way I was thinking about one of the people that you put. So I'm going to go. I will go with Bo Nix, because I had a conversation with one of our security guards this morning. I walked past the security desk going to the main office, and I said, I'm going to the game on Friday. Do you think I see Bo Nix? He goes, no, not at all. He's like, yeah, no. So he gets player of the week, because in his first performance back from breaking his ankle, looked just like he did at the end of last season. Another year, probably, I'm not going to say a better defense or better offensive coordinator, because that's what everybody's been saying. All the plays that work are Davis Webb's call, and all the plays that don't work are Sean Payton's call, because he's overstepping. I think that Bo Nix and Davis Webb are setting themselves up for a successful season. So what he did in his preseason game, his only game that he's going to see until Kansas City, I'm very intrigued by what happened. And on the opposite side, my benchwarmer of the week is all of those NFL fans, specifically in Seattle, because that's the bad thing. Nobody tells you that about the Hard Knocks. But when you have Hard Knocks, you get like the deep cuts of all of these injuries. And the Seahawks, it's been rough for them. But everybody is battling some sort of injury. Everybody's battling somebody not being available. We talked about Genty being out for 8 weeks. I mean, Jeremiah Love, too, the number 3 overall pick, another high ankle sprain after they started to run him like it was an actual regular season game that can get them into the playoffs in the first week of the preseason. So the injury bug has been absolutely atrocious in this preseason, and that's where my player and benchwarmer of the week lies. So it's good, and it's also bad, because nobody wants to see anybody get injured.
No, I don't hate those either. And obviously, Bo showed. I went to the preseason game last Friday, and being there at that game, I realized a couple things. One, Bo Nix would have won us at the AFC Championship, and Jarrett Stidham definitely lost us that. watching Bo for 2 drives and then watching Stidham for the next couple, I was like, yep, there's a reason why he's the starting quarterback. There's that makes sense. For me, I went 2 different ones here. We lost a legend this week, unfortunately.
And I saw somebody put it this way: one of the last things that all of America loved in Dolly Parton.
Exactly. Like Dolly Parton was the GOAT. Like, she's a legend of her own, and some of the greatest songs. I've been blasting 9 to 5 constantly. Her song with Kenny Rogers.
Her version of "I Will Always Love You" might be better.
Which by the way was her song.
It's her song.
Exactly, which people forget. Like she is awesome and goated, and we lost her, and everyone loves her for so many reasons. I remember we were talked about her on this show when she was doing the halftime show at the Thanksgiving game for the Cowboys, and she was up there with Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders 3 years ago.
Niko, I've been to Dolly World, and Carly just got home. And she's like, of course, Dolly Parton's version is better than Whitney Houston's.
I mean, look, I'm not going to say of course. Like, they're both really good. But, like, Dolly was the one that has stamped so many generations, stamped so many levels of pop and country music. Like, obviously, big influence on Miley Cyrus, big influence on Sabrina Carpenter, big influence on Kesha. Like, you go down
I
the
saw
list. Like,
a letter that she wrote to Eminem today that said they always had some sort of unspoken, like, they never met in person, but she always felt some sort of connection to him. And he was like, it's incredible. I saw Brad Paisley. Paisley came out, and he's like, when she did the chorus of Whiskey Lullaby, or When I Get Where, it's not Whiskey Lullaby, it's When I Get Where I'm Going. There's a version with Dolly Parton singing on the chorus, and that's one of the saddest country songs that you can ever put on. But when Dolly Parton sings the chorus of that song, it's just like, I conjure up memories of relatives that I had never even thought of when she goes
it's very funny because there's a Netflix show called America's Sweethearts, which covers the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and how they go through everything and all that. And I think it was very fitting that America's Sweetheart finally was able to perform with them, had the outfit and danced and did all that. I think that was really cool. They got to do that for 3 years ago. But yeah, she was a legend. And like one of the most telling things I saw this week that I thought was so cool was like she could have been a billionaire, and instead she gave so much money to the books, to the music industry. Like, there's books.
She got almost all of her family hired as like security or some sort of level into the music industry too. Like, the guy who made her death announcement was one of her nephews that has been working as her head of security for the last 20 years, and she truly did. Like, she made an empire and then brought her family in and made sure that her family was going to be good for the rest of her life.
Exactly. And was really strong in her faith and like she was just a light in so many people's lives. Like, I cannot tell you, like I've never seen a TikTok page go this nuts. Like everyone's like, damn, Grim Reaper, F you. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is the last person that everyone loved.
2026, you son of a bitch.
And then obviously like you had the person of the passing of, it wasn't Tim Burton. What was his name? The guy who was the original It, Pennywise. Oh my gosh, he just.
Oh, Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, that's who it was as well. Like you go down the list, 2026 has not been fair. So rest in peace, Dolly. I gotta give her Player of the Week because she's the legend of the GOAT. From good to bad, there was not much football on this weekend, so I watched the other football. I said it. I was gonna get into more soccer after the World Cup, and here I am, still standing strong. I watched my Liverpool draw versus Newcastle on Sunday morning. I watched the some of the Premier games on Saturday morning. I did not wake up at 6 a.m., sorry, but I watched the games at 9 a.m., okay? It was a nice morning pick me up. And Manchester United, a team a lot of people picked to win the league. For those that don't know, there is a promotion. Like, you get promoted and you get demoted in the Premier League and English soccer. 4 teams get brought up, 4 teams
Is
get
that like
down.
the promotion of the Akron season ticket holder that gets to call the first series of the game this year?
Basically, exactly that, which is wild. That is so fun.
We haven't talked about that yet.
That is wild. That's the thing. But Manchester United facing Hull City, who was a team that barely made in, was the last team in because of the playoff, and everyone picked to be the worst team in the league. Well, Manchester United goes to Hull City and deals with the wrath of the Tigers. And I don't know if you saw this video, but Hull City's entire crowd does the kitty tiger like scratching every time they score. And they went up 2-0 and beat them. Manchester United on the opening weekend, which is wild considering what everyone thought Hull City was and what Manchester United was. So I got to go with Man U as my bench warmer.
That wasn't the EPL clip that I was seeing. I was seeing Enzo Fernandez making his debut for Man City and just getting booed every time he touched the ball. And there were Man City fans that brought banners that said, "Hey, Enzo, the Falcons are British." And I was like, which is very
it's
funny. True. That's like the truest thing that they could have said. But yeah, no, that's why they don't like you. And
it is like I noticed. I have learned this weekend, like the booing is as loud as the cheering at all of these stadiums. Alexander Isak, our striker for Liverpool, came from Newcastle United, who he played this past weekend. He got booed louder every time he touched the ball, like even more when they scored.
I've noticed it over the last few years of like, if you play Madden and you have like, you're playing in my career, when your guy gets the ball, that's all you hear. You don't hear any of the cheers. It's just boo.
It's
and
boos the whole
NHL is the same way. Like the video games are even starting to pick up on it.
Like you look at Julian Alvarez, who has said, "I want to leave Atletico Madrid for Barcelona." They told him, go back in the locker room. Don't even go with the crowd and celebrate the win, like with the team on the field. Leave the locker room. We don't want to deal with this. And it's intense, and I'm loving it so far. And I'm going to try to keep up with small little tidbits of little information here and there from the world of soccer, because I got that World Cup fever. And let me put it this way. If my basketball team loses the greatest player of all time in its franchise, and we trade him or we get rid of him for some reason the next year and a half, this will be you will be hearing a lot of hockey and soccer content coming out of this face on this side of the screen, because there will be no basketball. I will refuse to talk about basketball.
If you tell me no more basketball, I guess I'll put it on in the background as I read a book or something, because that's what football is good for me. Not that I don't understand. I do understand it, but I just don't want to watch 90 minutes of nobody doing anything and then see the last 3 minutes of extra time be like, oh, goal.
That's what I've realized. It is a great background noise.
Yeah, exactly.
I can sit on my phone and work on my chess.com score while I'm watching soccer in the background, or work while the games are going on in the morning. It works perfectly.
I literally did like my first week or so of lesson planning with the World Cup on in the background. So it and I know European people are going to think that we're crazy. Hey, that's just what it is in America. I'm going to be watching every NFL game. I have Sunday ticket. I paid my parents for the YouTube TV account to get the NFL Sunday ticket so I can watch my Bengals. I can watch all the games. But no, it is. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not entertaining. It's just like the last 15 minutes are entertaining. It's the first 45 minutes I could do without. There's a reason why Ted Lasso barely shows any soccer images.
Yeah. I have yet to see the new season. Have you yet?
I've watched a little bit of it, but it's more of it's the same thing. It's more of like the team building and the culture, which is cool. Like that's the side that nobody really.
I know
ever
it's
gets
a women's team as well, right?
It is the women's team too, and they made a female version of Roy, so like that whole dynamic is still there. But it is like Ted Lasso is not about the soccer images that you see on the screen. It's about the team building and the exercises and like taking all of these different people and putting them into the same, wavelength and all of that stuff. So it's still good in that sense, but it's like, it's not Friday Night Lights where you're seeing real football being played in every single episode, or, any baseball show that you've ever seen, or hockey even. Like I watched that smut hockey show that they put out on Amazon Prime. That was just like the books that were about the girl hooking up with a hockey player. They had like 15 minutes of hockey in it in each of those episodes. So it's like, there's a reason why they don't show actual soccer.
And so this is going to sound really bad, but I watched a movie for the first time. It's a baseball movie for the first time this weekend. I want to see how long it takes you to guess it. It's a movie I've never seen before. Big older. Baseball movie. Older.
Bull Durham.
No, not Bull Durham.
Oh boy, yeah, I'm at a loss.
It's a pretty famous one.
Angels in the Outfield.
I've seen that one, not that one.
Oh boy, The Rookie. Rookie of the year?
I've seen that one, not that one.
Okay, I'm at a loss. I have no more.
Field of
baseball movies.
Dreams.
Oh shit! You just saw Field of Dreams?
I just saw Field of Dreams the first time. Exactly. My girlfriend who lived in Iowa for her whole college life was like, "You've never seen Field of Dreams?"
She was probably really pissed when you said that.
I was like, "I've never seen Field of Dreams," and so I watched it, and I'll be honest, I liked it. I did not love it. I thought there were parts a little bit weird, but I was like, okay.
There's way better baseball movies that have been made. But up until that point, that was probably one of the better ones. Like the Rookie of the Year is one of my favorites.
I love the lore of
obviously.
of the movie and what what's
I was about to throw out The Sandlot, so I'm glad that you stopped.
No, I've seen The Sandlot. Yeah, I have seen The Sandlot. That would have been bad.
No.
That would have been worse than Field of Dreams. I love the lore of Kevin Costner and the Cal Ripken Jr. thing. I love that. I'd love to think that that's true. That happened.
Well, and Kevin Costner, he's done so many good baseball movies. Other ones that you should, Bull Durham, if you haven't seen it, that's another good one. Love of the Game, For the Love of the Game. That is one of, I can put it on, like it gets played on MLB Network. That's how good of a movie it actually is. And it is, I will say, it's top-notch baseball movie.
Which, by the way, speaking of baseball movies, you'll love this. We got a new Mojo thing going on with Redwoods right now. You want to take a guess what it's from? What it is?
Oh man, I have no idea. Rally Cap?
It's similar. It's similar. I'll tell you the movie, and you better get the name of this. It's from Major League.
Oh, the marbles.
We got Jobu. We got a Jobu. We got Jobu.
Hey, don't drink Jobu's rum. It's very bad.
We have Jobu with a little cigar in his mouth that sits in our locker room now. That's another fun thing. Our coach bought a Jobu.
It's very bad to drink Jobu's rum.
Very, very bad. I gotta watch Major League before.
I need to wake up fat. Jesus Christ, Serrano.
I have Jobu that I have to carry around in the locker room and take care of every single week now. So I love that for me. I have a brick. I have steal something else, and I have Jobu. They all around every single week.
There you go. Oh, it's awesome. Make sure that you pay attention to the sports. I know that the summer has been kind of wrapping itself up. September is right around the corner. Labor Day is the following week, so I get Monday off of school. Cha-ching. It's an awesome time, and 2 more weeks, and we are consumed with the beautiful game of regular American football.
I was going to say, we are kind of in that this weekend, though. That's the thing, is because like we have
the week 0 games, and I know they're taking place in Ireland, so I'll pull up. I can't remember off the top of my head who is playing this weekend, but they're international games. So hey, European fans, go watch some college football. See what you pick up.
Yeah, the end is not around for knowledge anymore. So Nebraska isn't there, unfortunately.
San Jose State versus USC.
Oh gosh. Oh, maybe no. Maybe we'll wait another week till football's back.
Week
1's next week.
It probably ain't. It's probably not. That one's in Los Angeles, so that's not even the Dublin game. So no, college football is close, but it's not quite here yet. NFL football, you'll have the 1 week off instead of the 4th preseason game. If you're at Empower Field this Friday, come say what's up. If you listen to the podcast, why not? I'm in the lower section with my family tickets, so that's where I'll be. If you're out in Minnesota, go check out the PLL Playoffs. Niko will be there with the Redwoods. Hopefully, we're talking about more Redwoods lacrosse
all day Saturday. Weeks. Like I said, it is the best facility we play at. It is the nicest hotel. Like look, I don't have much good things to say about Vikings football, but what I can say is their facilities are insane. And it is beautiful up there. The hotel is insane. I am ecstatic. So,
have you done the Mall of America coaster?
I have not. I've never been to the Mall of America. So
that would be the first thing that I tried to do. I know that you guys have a very tight schedule, but I would like to go to Minnesota so I can go to the Mall of America. I would like to go to Ohio so I can go to Cedar Point. Those are like my 2 big bucket list items of travel within the United States.
And now I got to go to Eastern Tennessee to go to Dollywood because I've never been there either.
There's a coaster that's really good. The rest of it is pretty much just walking around listening to Dolly music. But hey, who doesn't love 9 to 5? Who doesn't love Jolene? I was like Jolene.
Wherever Jolene's at right now, she's very happy.
Yeah, very happy. Her 83-year-old ass is just sitting there like, yeah, good job, thank you.
Exactly. So, we're not fans of Jolene this week.
It would be so much better.
I was in the stream too with Kenny Rogers. Unreal.
Yes. Yeah.
So
all she has so many good duets. Like she did that was like I said, all of America pretty much loved her, and that's something that's very rare. But like all of the major artists that had a song at some point thought about, hey, could Dolly be on this? Dolly might be okay to be on this. And that's the other thing too that I heard. You know, why does she have little feet? Because it's hard for things to grow in the shade, baby.
That was so funny.
Okay,
I heard that for the first time.
Dolly, do you care about?
So funny.
Do you care about all the dumb blonde jokes that are made about you? I ain't a natural blonde, honey.
And I ain't dumb. The one I heard today was like she was on. I think it was Letterman back in the 2000s, and he did this thing where it was like top 10 like pet peeves of something. It was like top 10 peeves of Dolly Parton, and number one was like people say I got big tits, but people forget I have a good ass too. And she said, and I was dying laughing. I was like, "Oh, that sounds right."
Yes, Dolly. Yes. No, that's awesome. Episode 287. We're getting really close to football season. Thank you guys for tuning in. Check us out on the Far End of the Bench YouTube channel. Subscribe at FEOTB Pod. If you're watching us on the All Gloves Off Sports Media, subscribe and then go check out our channel for all the other episodes that we've had. This is for this next week. Make sure you have a great time. For myself, Jimmy Pilato, Niko Bryant, we will see you guys next week.
Peace.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit